Good evening, welcome to Poker Night Live. I'm Barry the Bully Martin, alongside someone not seen for a while, Dr. Tom Sambrook. Tom, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Barry. I'm delighted to see you in the studio tonight.
Where have you been?
I've been away.
Ah, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more, hey?
Yeah, say no more. Unfortunately, currently confidential, but that's all I'm saying.
Okay, thanks for that one. Poker Night Live, I'm sure you've seen the show before. If you've not, straightforward, cards face up. We see what's going on, multi-table tournaments, sit and goes, cash games, a complete plethora of double award-winning poker show for you this evening.
It's all true.
Now, it's all about your show. We want you to contact us. We want you to email, text, leave messages, however you possibly can get in contact with the show. We'll be talking about the theme for this evening a little later on. We have one.
We do?
We do.
Okay.
I've just made it up.
Fine.
Okay. And no jokes. Guaranteed.
Okay, I heard you had a bit of a joke fest the other night.
Well, yeah, it went... what can I do? We had lots of people send in jokes. We read quite a lot out, and it ended up being over 40. And there were some of our more hardcore poker followers that didn't enjoy it that much. So apologies to the viewers out there if you didn't, but, you know, to all we had some well-wishers as well that enjoyed the show that evening.
But tonight is a sensible show.
I think so.
Okay.
Right, how to get in contact with us. Text. Very simple. Use an electronic device of some sort to get in contact with us here at Poker Night Live.
Like a hairdryer? I mean, what...
No, obviously one that has some kind of texting thing, like a
okay,
PDA.
then clarify.
Anyway, let's just... well, look, I said no jokes, OK? The text, once again, 84222, and email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Thanks, boys, for doing the graphics so quick. I'm trying to keep up here. And have your say on Poker Night Live, 0906 200 7080. And for more about Poker Night Live, the wonderful forum that I was enjoying today, pokernightlive.co.uk. And the email once again. Thanks for that, boys in the gallery. Thanks. Yeah, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. If none of you have seen it before. Now, Tom, without any further ado, please take us around the tables.
Okay, let's have a look at the tables. We're going to kick off here with table one, which is a 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. Yep. Yes, it is. Your next table is your $5 Bounty rebuy. We are now sponsored by Bounty. There it is. We've got two MTTs. That's one of them. Table three, $10 sit and go. It's just nostalgia on a stick, isn't it? These little sit and goes. There it is. Still got them going. And table four is the free roll. Just like a bowl of soup, it's a free roll. And it's a free roll Grand Prix. Got any information on that, Barry?
I have some information on the free roll Grand Prix. 788. I count it 788 runners this evening.
And they paid nothing to get into it.
Absolutely free from the sponsors
deal.
this evening. 1.182 million chips in play.
Unbelievable.
A lot of chips.
Yep.
1,500 starting stat for everybody. 12-minute clock. 18 places paid. Total prize pool $2,500 from tonight's sponsor. First prize a whacking $1,000.
For absolutely no entry fee.
Free roll.
That is unbelievable.
Free roll. So should we look?
Yes.
Should we have a quick look at the free roll? See how it's all getting on, and we'll come back during the night. See how it's going. With this many runners, it could take a while.
Okay, let's do that. Know any of these players, Barry?
Let's have a look here. Dangerous Davey, someone I've seen before. No, I can't. You Tom, I know you've been away for a month, you know, in stealth mode, under the radar, shall we say. But anybody?
No, don't know anything about them.
I suppose with 788 runners in a Grand Prix, it's not unusual that we come to a table with no one that we know.
It's not unusual at all.
I thought he was going to break into a Tom Jones. That's right. Yes. No jokes this evening.
Okay.
Look, okay, let's get into the crux of the matter immediately.
All right.
You're in a free roll.
Yep.
788 runners. How are you going to play it early doors? Are you going to try and double up and think to yourself, well, it's a free roll, I'm going to get busy with these kind of chips, or you're going to kind of play it a little bit more laid back, thinking that other players are going to play this way, and play a little bit more conservatively and try and pick them off?
Well, I think you know the answer, Barry. I mean, the fact that I've paid nothing in to get into the tournament is irrelevant. There is still real money to be had there. So my strategy is going to play the basic multi-table tourney strategy, which is playing sound cards early on. But even more so, because I know there's going to be more players in that just see it, as you said, as a case of doubling up in the first 3 minutes, and if they don't, going off and watching EastEnders because they haven't lost any money. So I'm going to go into a pot with reasonably sound values and be prepared to play it for all my chips, because I know I could be up against any old junk.
So, okay, you're in mid-position, you've say got pocket kings like Mr. Senator's got there. You know, does that mean you're going to be cautious when the flop comes 7-7-3 and the guy in front starts getting busy, or he check raises you, or, you know, can you put him on these kind of cards?
No, I mean, pair of kings is good for my money. For all I know, he could be as happy to play a 7 for all his money as a 3. And there are 3 3s in the deck and only 2 7s when you get that flop down that you described. So basically, that is good for all my money. I'm not going to get the collywobbles against people who are not yet proven to be decent players.
Well, look at this, Paul. We were talking about, you know, playing some dubious cards. The kings have raised here, and the ace-4's made well, and not being the nuts, but he's made his miracle gut shot on the turn. The third club's come down as well, and even the kings are drawing dead to the club as well, the poor fella, because he's got the clubs locked up. So, you know,
he did nothing wrong, and he can console himself with the knowledge that it's not cost him any money.
But you said you'll play it like it's real money.
Yeah, once you're out, then the justifications start. I mean, that's an important part of the psychological healing. But in the game, no, you're playing for that prize money.
Okay.
Difficult hand to play in this sort of scenario, though, a sort of middle pair like 9s, though, because you can expect to get quite a few callers, and that's not really where you want to be with a pair of 9s.
No, and you'd expect him to raise like 4 times, especially with a limper. You'd expect him to raise 4 times instead of maybe 2.5, 3 times the blind.
You know what, Barry, in this sort of game, where I might be up against a load of maniacs, I don't mind just calling those and throwing them away if I can't see a cheap flop. Well, down comes the flop. It's paired up, which is normally a good sign for a small pair, because there are fewer cards that your opponent could have paired. And what is Jay Tiggett's going to make of that? He's got to reckon it's reasonably unlikely.
You got to fancy you winning now with the 9s, haven't you, Tom?
Not that likely. The guy's got a king.
Maybe a flush draw against him?
I'll tell you what I do here, Barry, is I put in a bet that could possibly be a king, and then I really know where I stand.
Maybe what, 160, 180, some kind of...
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. I wouldn't lay their 9s down, I must say.
No, I don't think you can.
Because if the guy's played a king like that, it's a very clever way of playing a king, but not one I would play like that, put it that way.
Maybe he thinks that there's enough dead money at this stage of the tournament that he doesn't need to get involved in a pot that's not clear. It's not clear where he is. You know, if he was up against top-class players, he might think, well, this is looking quite good. Maybe I should take my chances now. Maybe he just doesn't like middle pairs.
So quickly, just going back, we've not, you know, people have been asking on the forum, where's Dr. Tom? What's been happening to the doctor? Have you been, playing poker? You've been out, you know, gallivanting around the world, doing other things?
I did take a quick trip to Reno.
Really?
Yeah, I did. To play a WPT event there. And, well, I'm back.
Is it the biggest little city in the world?
It is the biggest little city in the world, yes. And I know that because it says so across the street. But otherwise, it's just an average American town.
Yeah. Yes, okay.
But, yeah, no joy there.
It's not Vegas, is it?
7 hours. Oh, no, I'm talking about the poker.
Reno, though, it's no Vegas, is it? It's...
Oh, I've never been to Vegas, Barry.
Never?
I've never, ever been to Vegas. Isn't that incredible?
That is incredible. The doctor not been to Vegas. Well, how about we start a P&L whip round for the doctor? Let's get him off for a single.
I don't need your charity.
Okay.
I'm only joking. I do need your charity. If you could send your money into Poker Night Live, I'd be very, very
Free
appreciative.
post, Dr. Tom, P.O. Box 3172.
We could call it the Dr. Tom free roll. He doesn't pay anything to go to Vegas.
So it's a free roll for one. That's what it is.
That's okay. I'll wear the
Heads
sponsor's
up.
badge.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll wear a T-shirt with everyone's name on it who donated money to the Dr. Tom free roll. How about that? That's great advertising.
So now we're going to see a bit more of you on Poker Night Live over the coming...
you won't be able to get away from me now.
Excellent. And any trips planned? Are you going to play any
I've only
festival?
just got back, Barry.
No, you know, you got any trips planned? You got any festivals lined up?
No, not really. We'll see. Sorry? The Gut Shot Festival?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll probably be down to the Gut Shot to play in their great festival. And
I believe it's next week. I'm not too sure exactly when it is. But I think the £500 main event with 5,000 added seems excellent value.
Say that again? Didn't quite catch
The
it.
£500 main event with 5,000 added seems excellent
And
value.
that's at the Gut Shot Club, Clerkenwell Road?
Possibly, yeah. You'd have to
Okay,
to check
fine.
the
Well,
lineup.
I'll probably be along to that.
Good. Oh, you've done well. You've had a cash in one of the main events down at the Gut Shop, so
That's
why
true.
not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah. So there you go. Enough free advertising for Barry's club. Let's get back to the game.
It's actually the members club.
So sorry, so sorry. But you do, of course, profit directly from.
No.
Oh,
The Gut Shop Private Members Club is a non-profit making
so it all
entity.
goes to orphans in India.
I-
Anyway, we've moved on to a new table, I think.
we have.
Same MTT, different table.
Can I just quickly take a quick time out to congratulate Arsenal for making the Champions League final?
Ah, well done.
You're not much of a football fan.
No, not really. Well, I mean, my team's Southampton, so it's best not to
Southampton.
get too involved.
Okay.
It's a bit like Sport in England in international leagues. You don't want to get too excited about
No,
it.
indeed. No, indeed. The hardest hand in Hold'em.
Jack 8 off.
No, I'd say the Jacks, actually. Free roll, how are you going to play it? Push in? A fold? Hold on. Did we see that? No.
He's going to lose to Royal Flush, I think.
No. Did that happen? I'm not sure. Was that...
He did fold.
It did fold to a limp. Was that a bad read, or was that just poor play, Tom? What do you think?
It's possible that, I mean, pair of jacks is the sort of hand that people pick up and they say, I'm damned if I'm playing this because I've done my...
But it's the first level of a free roll, and there's a limper before him. He could have at least put 20 in the pot.
Well, Barry, you know, Taylor's got a straight. Teddy Bear's looking at it.
What a
saying-
play! Teddy Bear's played like a champion.
But this will have happened to him so many times in the last week. He's just stitching the
We'd
jacks.
love to hear from the viewers here on Teddy Bear's fold. Oh, maybe he was moved. He's not got any cards now, or maybe he sat out. He can't believe that he passed the loser.
He must be disconnected.
Do you reckon?
Well, that would explain it.
It would, wouldn't it? Makes good viewing though.
It does, yeah. So the hardest hand in Hold'em, you think, jacks?
I think so. Don't you?
Well, it all depends on how many chips you've got. I think if you've got a massive load of chips in front of you, queens start to become jacks in the same way.
Only in the very big tournaments,
Yeah.
but especially to a re-raise.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. I think jacks are just as tricky. Jacks and queens. Why one pip makes a difference is it's a very good question.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the jacks, trouble is you've got 3 overcards, and your opponent could only have 2 of them if they have just got overcards, and you don't know which one on the flop is the one they've got. Obviously, you think a queen's better than an ace, but with the queens, if your opponent's only got overcards, then it's pretty clear if he's hit
Yeah.
when an overcard comes to your queen. So yeah, I agree with you, Barry. I think, I mean, many's a time where I've been sitting there with loads of chips, and I picked up the jacks, and knowing that no one's looking over my shoulder, I've decided to play them just like a small pocket pair. Because I've just decided at this point in time, I don't have the confidence against this good opposition to play these, like a big-ish pair. So I just wimp out and limp in, and if I don't catch a jack, I throw it away the same way as I would with a pair of 4s. I'm not proud of it, Barry. I'm not proud of
Seven
the
becomes 9
behaviour.
high, Tom, and there's action before you with jacks. You've given yourself a tough decision because you've limped in with a pocket pair. The small blind's made up for value, and there's 3 of you in the pot.
I have given myself a tough decision exactly for that reason, because I don't know anything about my opponents. And then probably I'll bet, probably. But I might still throw them away, because no one can see me being lame, and I'm saving my chips.
Yeah.
And I think
Okay,
if you...
what about this? You're on a televised event.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason not to play World Poker Tour events.
Yes, indeed. Especially at the final. But if you do make the final, it's like one of a co-commentator made the final of the World Poker Tour Championship.
Who did?
Roland de Wolf.
Ah, of course he did, yeah.
Come third.
That is... How much did he get for that?
$1 million. $1 million. World Poker Tour Championship event. Got through probably the toughest ever field put together at any poker tournament ever in the world. And $1 million.
And did you see his entire performance?
No. I was watching some live coverage.
Sorry, I mean the edited performance.
No, it's not been shown yet. It was only live. It
okay.
actually took place yesterday. Finishes last night, actually,
Oh,
or this
right.
morning, actually, in Bellagio, Las
But
Vegas.
at some point we will be able to see whether he
Of
wins
course,
out with
yeah.
Veritas.
It'll be on the World Poker Tour telecast at some point in the near future, because you know he won the Paris event.
That's right, yeah.
Got himself a free entry into the championship event, and crash bang wallop, 3rd position.
What a player. We should get him on the show again.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, Sadil Rowland, if you're watching.
I spoke to him this afternoon. He actually was getting rather drunk, having been paid $1 million.
There's no excuse for getting drunk.
$1 million?
All right, okay, a few cocktails. Every time we come back to this screen, we've got a new table on.
Well, with 788 runners, it does mean there are quite a few tables currently.
Do you think Rebecca 25,000 is really a woman?
I'd pretty much bet my whole bankroll that Rebecca is probably Jeff or Dave or someone.
Okay. Rebecca,
Well-
do email us if you are a woman or a man not called Jeff or Dave.
Well, you know what I mean.
I do.
Now, they're not being dealt cards. You think these are the free rollers that have got in and just sitting out?
I guess that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing on a sit and go the other day, and because the proprietors wanted to maximise the people coming in and paying a registration fee, well, it wasn't supposed to be a sit and go. It was supposed to be a multi-table tourney, but only 8 people turned up. But they just put down chips on all the seats, and if people came in late, they could come down and sort of acquire a stack. But by then, some of it would have been blinded off.
Where was this?
This was in Prague,
Okay.
and. But this really changed the dynamic of the game, because when the blinds got reasonably high, that big blind going in each time was
It's free
basically
money.
yeah, and the person in mid-position was ideally placed to put in the bet, you know, and take it down. And in fact, the player of the 9 of us, or the 10 of us who were there, 8 real players, the 2 ghost stacks came in 5th and 6th.
Really?
So there was a point, a dangerous point, where we thought one of them might make the money. But,
Okay.
But it's a silly way to do it, I think. I mean, by all means, have a stack there and blind it off, but keep it on a table somewhere, and then introduce it to the game when the player comes in and buys it. But it was really upsetting the dynamic of the game.
I've got a very funny story on that, actually, just while the action's taking place. You know, Johnny Anu, the guy who won the Poker Million Poker Bowl seat. He was about to sit down and play a World Series of Poker qualifier on a particular online site, and it was like a free roll with rebuys to get into this thing. No, actually, it was just a free roll. It was a free roll, very, very big field, a couple of 100 runners or something. Top 4 to go through. He sat down playing the very first hand. His computer died. He sat out. Computer come back on in the morning when don't know what's wrong with it. Turned the computer on. It qualified.
No.
It qualified. They didn't have whereby the big blind was just given up if he was in the big blind. He survived 17 big blind confrontations.
Oh my God.
He got the hand history printed out, and he qualified. He got a seat. Now, I'm just trying to work out why, when you're 5-handed, okay, there's 4 seats, and one of the players is sitting out. What was the guy in 5th place doing? How did he get knocked out when one of them is going to get blinded away eventually? Can you understand that? I didn't.
I can't understand when there's 5 of them left how they couldn't just.
Well, like just in the text box, look, just let the little blinds go around. Let's walk away, and this guy's going to get knocked out. But they didn't, and he got a seat
Oh my God.
into the next qualifying event. Very funny.
So not only a free roll, but no work involved.
No work involved. Early nights, gone to sleep, woke up. Oh, look, I've qualified. No, that is a free roll.
Beautiful. Well, they're certainly playing pretty fast. I think there's quite a few people here who are not present in body. And it's going to be pretty easy for those few players who are playing. Blind's now 15:30.
Oh, hello, that's nice.
Yeah, not bad, is it?
Always nice to flop the nuts. Especially when someone's bet into you as well.
Ooh.
I like that. I like that, just a flat call, saying if you've got diamonds, good luck.
Yep. Yeah, no guarantee that he's got diamonds and no guarantee they'll arrive. So why not give him a chance to bluff?
Yep.
But he's given up the ghost. His 3 flush failed to materialise. Swashy boy takes it down. Doyle Brunson there, 10 deuce. How's he going to play it?
There you go. Okay, we've got a couple of emails from our viewers
Oh,
here.
just having a little peek. What does it say?
It says, this is a text from Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous. Have quite a few texts from you in the 2 times. 2 kings, 2 eights, and a 10 on the table. Okay, you getting this?
2 kings, 2 eights and a 10, okay.
Yeah, yeah. One hand has 2 spades, the other has an ace and a 2. Who wins?
2 spades? You mean a 2 of spades?
Has 2s.
Oh,
has
has
2s,
2s.
sorry.
Yeah, guy with the ace.
Because it's a text.
Yeah, he's guy with the ace because he's got kings and 10s with an ace. Is that right, isn't it, Barry?
Yes, because the 2s are counterfeited.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you can't actually have 3 pairs. It's the best 5-card hand possible in poker. So 2 kings, 2 eights, the 10 doesn't play, your 2s are no good, the ace wins. That's it, basically.
It happens a lot in Texas Hold'em, that sort of situation. So, yeah, get used to it.
Now,
What now then, Barry?
we're not going to do this next email. We're going to quickly tell the viewers how to get in contact with the show once again, just in case it was so quick to go through it earlier on. We'll quickly run through it again. Email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. I know the text first, but I'm just being awkward, that's all. And text the studio right now, poker to 84222. And just a reminder, if you didn't get it in the first place, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. You can also have your say. You can also have your say, 0906 200 7080. There you go. I think we're going to have a very quick look at some cash action before we fly back to the multi-table tournament and sit and goes.
All right. Which is it going to be? 25.50?
I believe it is. Oh, good timing. Set of 8s on the river for Potty Dotty, who I must say I was watching the other night play, and an excellent name for him or her, because
Both
playing
Potty and Dotty.
absolutely out to lunch. Definitely out to lunch. Always nice to hit the trips on the river.
Yep. Pigeonhead slapping in there. 7 times the big blind in the cutoff. That's overkill, possibly, with Ace King. I guess he finds out where he is with that hand. But I think there's more value in Ace King than he's giving it credit for. It really looked like he wanted to shut the opposition out there.
Obviously had a bit of trouble with Ace King in the past. Didn't want to
Could be.
see any action with it.
Well, you built up Potty Dotty, but getting Ace Jack off suit, he's just
He's
limped in.
He's playing it like he's got quads or something.
Now he's going to go all in.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, Portman Road has heard what you're saying, Barry, and is giving him every opportunity to do that. He's checked his trip tens. And surely someone's going to represent the 10 at some point. Potty Dotty's done it. And now, it's trouble is though it's difficult to flat call there and represent anything apart from a 10. There's no draw whatsoever on the board.
No.
He's in the small blind. I mean, it really does look like he's got the 10 now. But will Potty Dotty spot that? Still looking very secure. Yeah, he checks again. I think I like that play because if his opponent's got wind of what's going on, he's not going to bet whatever happens. But if he hasn't, he may bet again. Only the 5-6 to worry about. Now, I think here you've got to give him a chance to put in a river bluff. He probably won't bite, but I don't think he'll call a bet. Let's have a look. While Portman Road has decided to reverse his strategy on the river and come out betting, does look like a value bet. It really does.
What's he thinking about? A raise, maybe?
Raise or call.
Thinks he's got a 4? A 4?
I think what we're not going to see there is a raise and a fold. All we got was a fold. Oh, does this mean stats are coming?
We have some pre-flop folds for you, or as we like to call it, the rockometer.
Do we know how long these, what sort of period of play these are taken from?
It's a very good question. It's about an hour and a half, actually, I believe.
Oh, okay, fairly
stats
accurate.
running.
Well, it depends how long they've been sitting there. But
Yeah, we can only take it as the hands they've seen. Portmore Road looking like the most rocky.
And Pigeon Head looking like the most...
The loosest, shall we say.
Yeah, let's. Oh well, takes the pot down there with his, what is it, sixes, I think? Flush draw.
It was the winner.
King Queen off. How do you play it? I mean, how do you play this hand in early position, Barry?
I'm going to limp.
Yeah?
I'm going to limp. I'm not a great lover of King Queen.
And what are you hoping to achieve by your limp, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, I'll probably limp myself, but...
What am I looking to achieve? I'm looking to achieve, one, a very cheap flop for starters. Two, not a flop like that. Couldn't really have missed any more, could you, with the King Queen? You know, if you hit top pair with the King or Queen, you've got to think you're in, without, if it's an unraised pot, you're in pretty good shape. Obviously, there's the stealth two pair if someone's got like King 7 or something comes King 7 3. There's always that problem, but you know, if you're going to play King Queen in a passive manner, like limping, then you have to play it very carefully after the flop.
Yeah, that's the paradox of the hand, because you in fact get more information, I think, by limping than you would if you bet. Because someone's got Ace Queen and you bet, they're probably going to call you. But if you've got King Queen and you limp, they'll probably raise.
Yes.
So you've got a better idea where you are, as you say, if you limp and are only called. But the trouble is, you're letting so many people then that although you've got more idea,
Might have
with three
Queen
cards on
4
the
or
board,
King 6.
Yeah, someone can make anything.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an explosive hand.
And you really want to be picking it up on the flop if you make a bet after hitting top pair, don't you?
That's right.
Someone comes back at you, you got to have a rethink about the. You got to evaluate where you are.
Yeah. But in the long run, every now and then you'll catch Ace Jack 10 or two pair with someone top pair, top kicker, and you'll get paid. But I think you've got to be aware of the dangers of King Queen, and that comes with experience.
We're talking about themes for this evening.
Oh yeah, you said you had a theme.
Dr. Tom. Yeah, we're going to call it the pro plays, the named pro play. I was talking to. I'm not going to name drop, but I was talking to Mike Mattersell recently about some of the plays that he adopts. That he goes into it when he sits down at a table. He looks around the table and sees some particular players at his table. He may think that this particular play is going to work against him, or that particular play is going to work against this type of player. And a few that I've written down that I'm sure we can add to this list and maybe go through them a little bit later on. The stop and go play. Yeah. The check raise, which is obviously something that's adopted by a number of players, and the tomato sauce play.
Ah, yes, the tomato sauce play.
The tomato sauce play.
I mean, not only should you be divulging these professional sort of tips of the pros, but do you think the audience is ready for the tomato sauce play?
Well, it's one that has to be handled very, very carefully because there are 57 different varieties.
Yes.
Okay. No, that was it.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
No. I'm being serious. There is the tomato sauce play is something that I know a few pros have said to me. Oh, it was that tomato sauce play.
I don't know the play, Barry.
It's ketchup. It's playing ketchup. It's slow playing a big hand when you've made the nuts on the flop, like the guy did. Don't you like it? I thought it was very good. When someone told me, "Oh, I was tomato sauce in it," I was like, "Okay, you've got me. What is that?" I was trying to get him to catch up.
Ah.
So you flopped. You got Ace Queen. It comes Ace Queen Queen or Ace Queen or whatever the flop may be.
Okay.
And you're checking it. He's betting. You're getting him to hit something to catch up a little bit with you, so you get some action out of the pot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Barry. I mean, previously I just called it slow playing to let them catch up, but obviously yours is much snappier.
Well.
So now it's tomato sauce, but I'm with you.
Okay.
With you, yeah.
Any you'd like to add to the list that we can analyse in greater depth during the show this evening?
I'll tell you a play I like to make, which is mostly only relevant to smallish tournaments. Sort of rebuy tournaments that
Yep.
you get down your local casino. I'm in early position. I'll often find myself with a hand like let's say ace-jack, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I bet with that hand, I'm only going to get called by a better hand, and all the worse hands will fold. But I still want to play it. So what's the way to play a hand like this? The only thing you can do with it, if you've got, say, 6 or 7 times the big blind, is to flat call, limp in, and assume and hope that someone in late position will think, ha, rank amateur, doesn't understand that this time in the tournament it's a case of raise or fold. He's obviously got a rubbish sort of hand. I'll raise him off it. They raise you. You come over the top. You come over the top there, and you're playing that hand for all your chips. And by then they're normally committed to it, and they've got to call you with king queen or king 10 or something. But that's one of my favourite plays to make there.
And how would you coin that play? What would you call this particular play? See, I've given you a nice, very succinct list of what these plays are.
Yeah, but you've had a month to think about that, Barry.
I did it in the car on the way here.
All right, I'll come up with a snappy title by the end of the first break.
Okay, thank you. The limp, pretending you've got nothing as a rank amateur and then come back over the top.
So much better than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think I've only got enough. I don't think I've got enough ink in my pen.
Okay.
All right. Any others?
Maybe you should see.
Yeah. Don't go there, please. It's a family show. Goes out in the daytime,
Yep.
Dr. Tom. So,
And you've got quite a family, so your ink is not in doubt.
no. Well,
Well, it is these days, of course, interrupted flow.
indeed. Anyway, look, we've got a set of 8s here for.
The nib is intact, but the ink is not flowing.
Well, indeed. It's an interesting hand here, Dr. Tom. We've got a set of 8s against the gut shot straight draw for nobody 66.
You see, he did it the ugly way. He got the set on the flop instead of
Yes.
make it on the river, which is more professional but less sort of impressive.
Yeah, but it's a very dangerous slot we saw there with Queen 8, 2 spades. There's possible straight draws. There's flush draws
Huge.
out there.
Got to protect from that.
It's not huge.
What?
I wouldn't call it huge, but there's drawing, especially when you've got Jack 10,
Yes.
which is a limping
There's-
type of hand in a cash game.
There's danger lurking behind every door in Texas Hold'em. Makes you a paranoid person. Why are we on camera again?
I don't know. Maybe we haven't seen you for such a long time. But we were I think they got excited in the studio because we were talking about a pen and being half empty or not, my nib not working, which is
Your nib's working. I know your nib's working. It's fine.
it's working.
I mean, tell them what we're talking about, Barry, because people might think that you're joined some sect. Because you have come out publicly on this subject, haven't you? You actually.
I actually wrote an article on the Gutshot site about it was called vasectomy and limping. It was called.
And
What,
is that,
during. In fact, what a good link, because it was a play. There's a play about actually limping in a pot, and I'll be in the blind. Now, this actually works out quite well for the theme. Figure this one out. You've got this kind of domino effect in a tournament, okay? You've got, say you're in small or big blind. It goes limp, limp, limp round to you. Now, you know that probably the first guy may have a hand, but the others are calling for value, especially in the early stages of a rebuy tournament, okay? Now, irrelevant of what cards you've got in the small or big blind, you know if you make a big enough raise to make a decision, as long as the first guy folds, you're absolutely in clover, because you don't think that the guys behind him are going to have a hand.
it's true.
Okay, so it was called, and funny enough, this particular play I was thinking about while I was actually in the throes of having a vasectomy, which we won't go into too much detail over. But it was called limping. It's called the limp play, for whatever reason you want to call it. But what an excellent link, because you were talking about the thing and it works well. Thank you for that, Dr. Tom.
You're welcome.
You've been
Barry.
missed over the last month.
Oh, that's very, very sweet of you to say so. I've missed you too.
Good. We spoke a couple of times on the phone, but
Yeah. I'm going to
good to
cry,
see
I
you.
think. But we're still in camera.
we are. Come on, let's get back to the poker, chaps. This is a
I've
poker
come
show.
over all shy, so it's been a while since I've been on TV.
Yeah.
So
You are a shy, retiring type of.
I am. I'm a wallflower.
More wolf than flower.
Uh-huh.
Hey. The King Queen once again,
Look, he's limped.
limping from the Ipswich Town fan, obviously, called Portman Road.
He's in the free roll, isn't he? He's maximised his exposure to our cameras.
Did you spot him?
I think so. Yeah, I'm fairly sure I saw him in the free roll. Well, there it is. He's caught the king.
I'm
but
going to bet. I'm going to bet with King Queen here.
What about you're not worried about someone limping with an ace?
Well, you're going to find out. If you put, okay, one's good enough for me. You're finding out for one. I think you can take it down with a one bet. Although, if I'm potty dotty, I'm going to think to myself, hold on a second, ace, king, 6, rainbow flop. Am I going to come out betting with the weak ace to see where I am, or has he got a king or a 6? I may re-raise there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're potty dotty, your thought processes might not be that organised.
What, I'm just saying, me. If I was sitting in that particular spot, I'm thinking to myself, is this a value bet? It's a third of the pot, or half the pot as it was. Is it, you know, I've got a king, not sure where I am, let's make a little feeler.
So you're looking to make a play there, basically.
Absolutely. And I don't think you have to make a play for that much. I think $4 would have asked the question.
I agree with you, Barry.
Yeah.
I think you're right. And that's a sophisticated play, if I may say so.
Thank you.
But it's probably what you've got to make a few of those plays over the course of a year to turn a profit in.
Well, I think you have to make them. You have to make them on the right board. You've got to, you know, if it's a flushing type of board or a straightening type of board, the ace is kind of, you know, you have to bet to stop any draws against you or make them at least pay for their draws. But on a funny old board like ace, 6, king, rainbow, I think you have to get, you know, a little bit more creative when you've got a facing a bet. We're going to check this both down. Yep, split pot.
Well, this ought to be folded round to the big blinds, in my book. I can't see any hand there I'd put any money in with, including 10-7 offsuit.
Indeed.
Terrible hand.
No, the Dolly Parton suited has fancied a limp.
First to bet, we'll take it. And surely time to represent there something.
Yeah,
A
why
little
not?
bit more.
Should do it, actually. Yep,
Yep.
should do it. See, that's the board. If you have got an ace, you are going to bet with ace, king, 3, 2 possible straight draws, flush draw, etc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, fold in order. There's a walk for nobody. We're off.
We are back into the matrix, Dr. Tom. We're going to have a quick look around, and there we go. Back into this evening's free roll.
You sounded a bit like Murray Walker then, Barry.
And we're back in. Yeah, did I?
You did,
Okay.
Oh, I loved it.
Really? Are you a Murray Walker fan?
Well, you know, he's the voice of Formula One.
Yeah. Yes,
Just
he
as
made
you
some
are.
of the best gaffes. No, please don't start. Some of the best gaffes ever, didn't he? It's quite funny.
Can you remember any?
I can't, you know. It's like a good joke. You just can't. Can you remember any? He has made some
I
blunders.
think there was
hasn't he?
one where he was saying something, and there is Lauder, and he's overtaking Lauder.
Really? Did he?
He lapped himself.
That was.
$531 players left in tonight's free roll. And the small stack is a little more than 1,000 chips. Oh, well, we've got some with 835 there, so the information is changing as we speak here. But the big stack is 12,000 something, which should be a bit more stable. Blinds 25.50. And they're all in it for free money. Anyone got a 10 is what everyone is asking. Answer is affirmative. Doctor Smurf there. He's got the straights. Risky bet there because there's a danger with a straight and a flush on the board that he'll only be called by a flush. And in fact, he doesn't get paid.
Can I just quickly while they're dealing the cards out, I've just had a quick look on Google. Three of the best gaffes ever from Murray Walker. The most important part of the car is the nut that holds the wheel. Not bad. How can you crash into a wall without it being there in the first place is beyond me.
But it's pretty philosophical.
Yeah, and here in Malaysia, it doesn't rain by the bucketful, it rains by the ocean.
Well, that is Taoist. He's a genius.
He is
this
a
guy.
genius, the man. He is absolutely genius. Anyway, enough of frivolity and humour for one evening.
You keep saying that, Barry, but it just comes bubbling up
I
through your
can't-
veins.
I'm sorry, it's just, you know,
No, I'm fine by me. Look at that. Ace King gets 410 to bet into him. Ooh, interesting.
he's not mucked about, is he?
No, but who's going to call it apart from the 7?
No one?
King, Queen?
Heads up as
I
well.
don't think so.
No.
No, silly bet.
Is there 2 flush cards out there?
Don't think so. Well, even if there were, so what? No, I don't think there were. Anyway, he's still in. Ooh, just a limp. Mini Coop trying to get in cheap.
Oh, hello. Nice flop for Bluff Boy. Top pair with the up and down.
And Mini Coop should realise that a 7 is not a great card in that situation because it can easily make a high straight. So I don't know why he's got involved in this pot.
He's drawing pretty much dead, isn't he? Because the 7 comes, it's not the card you want to see.
Yeah. And
He actually may take this down now.
Yeah, Bluff Boy realises now he may be dead with that club arriving, and Mini Coop has played it well in the event, or was he just being a nutter? Difficult to tell on a small sample.
Be interested to see if he carries on this similar play.
But it was such a dangerous flop to make a play on in the first place, because the other guy, it's a sort of flop there with those sort of cards in the middle where your opponent, if you raise him, if he's got a draw, he may decide to go all in to keep it simple, and if he's got a made hand facing a draw, he may go all in to keep it simple. So it's a funny situation in which to put in the raise to give him a chance to go all in with, because then you deny yourself the opportunity, say, of a bluff on the turn, which in fact he did get. But I think those middle sort of straightening cards, I expect to see someone going all in quite often, so I don't want to give them the chance to do that if I'm trying to draw myself.
Two four with the nuts there, making a small bet. I must say, compared to the sit and goes that we see during the evening, it's slightly different play.
Yeah.
Than you would normally see, but very enjoyable. Wow. He's queen in very good shape, although the King of Hearts may fancy seeing the river now, being this cheap. Oh dear. You have to think that Smurth too really caused this himself by betting so small on the turn, allowing Bluff Boy to catch up with the 7.
You think he was worried against 2 opponents, someone already had the flush?
Well, he's bet 50 on the flop with ace queen. It's not exactly the power play, is it? Because ace 5, 10, 2 hearts. I'm really betting at least the pot, maybe even a little bit more, just to try and take it down there and then, Tom. I really am.
Mm-hmm. Well, credit to him, he got away from it, which was reasonably impressive there.
He did, yep.
Remember it. It's a question you've always got to ask yourself on the river when someone comes back at you with a raise. Doesn't matter what your hand is, if it's not a big hand and your opponent is a sound player, he'll just call with a lot of reasonable hands that you're just beating. He probably needs a big hand to raise you. He can also raise you with a bluff, of course, but many players rarely bluff on the river, and if you've got this opponent tagged as one of those players, then the raise really must mean a big hand, because he's just going to call with a medium hand according to poker theory.
Might make the 2-3 slow down a bit now, I think.
Yeah, he might be prepared just to check this through to the river now.
Yeah, I like the check there.
Is this tomato sauce play?
I think you have to consider it that with the full boat on the turn, you've got to fancy your chances now that let him catch up if he's got a flush draw or something.
You see, the tomato sauce play on the flop is pretty much obvious, because there are 2 more cards to come which he could catch up on.
Yes.
And furthermore, on the flop, you've basically got all the cards that your opponent needs. But on the turn, the catch-up play is does contradict one of the other tenets of poker theory, which is that the turn is the last chance to give your opponent a chance to pay to draw. So if he's never going to bet at you, then you need to bet at him on the turn to give him a chance to call your bet drawing to a hand. So there's a reason there to bet the turn.
It's all very well and good, but if you do make him pay for his draw and he decides not to go for his draw, you're losing your customer. But if you've already made a very, very big hand, like a full house or a flush or something like that, and you want him to catch up to make a hand equally as big, but not as big, obviously,
Sure.
to get his whole stack instead of just a very small amount of it.
So if the guy's got lots of chips, then you don't bet at him on the turn. Normally you don't get paid on the river because he doesn't make his draw, but when he does, you get paid big time.
Even doubled up, even clean him out.
So what we're arriving at here, Barry, is that the catch-up play is to be made on the turn only when your opponent is deep stacked.
Yeah, usually.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad we sorted that out.
Okay. So, we've got a couple of emails we're going to get through before we go to our first break this evening.
Super duper.
This is an email from Andy. Hi guys, he says, great to see you back, Dr. Tom. You have been missed.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Andy. Thank you very much.
Obviously at the cash tables, he means. Recently I've been playing more and more heads-up sit and goes, which I find are extremely fun, and I've done reasonably well. I don't have a problem with super aggressive opponents or any other reasonable opponents, but today I played a guy who was so passive it was giving me fits. He kept checking behind me with two pairs on the river and didn't raise his straight and flushes either. Yet, I couldn't win any chips. I steal a lot of blinds in the early stages, but suddenly he re-raised me and I call and fold. And we're back again to even. Do you have any effective strategy against someone so passive? I stole many small pots, but never actually had a hand in any of the real pots. Regards from Andy. Passive players, Tom.
Well, I mean, Andy, it's not your fault that it so happened to be the case that in the big pots you didn't have a hand and in the small pots you did. I mean, that's just bad luck. Because against a passive player, he's not taking any steps to force you to have different hands in different pots. So I think you've just been a victim of bad luck there. Against passive players, it really is pretty simple. You work out roughly what their calling requirements are, what hands they're prepared to bet with, what hands that they're at least prepared to call with, and make sure you're ahead of them when you bet. So they will pay to draw to you, but they will let you draw cheaply to them. So it really should be pretty easy to beat these players. They're very rare, and I think you just got unlucky on that occasion.
I would agree, actually, and I would say that most of these passive players have, you would put them into the calling station type pigeonhole of players. And one thing I would say about playing these players: don't try and bluff them. Okay, they're usually going to call you down with not so clever a holding, and playing the real hyper aggressive, super sophisticated play against these boys, it's just not going to work. Okay, play ABC poker, play big cards, make sure you got the winning hand, and for me personally, playing against very passive players is the easiest way to usually get paid. Yeah. I must say,
it's like going back to playing against absolute beginners, and
yep.
It's joyous. So follow this guy around, and next time you see him, you should expect to come out top.
And don't bluff, okay? Do not bluff the passive players.
It doesn't matter how obvious a bluffing situation it is, don't bluff.
So you might be 4 clubs on board, he's got second pair, you make a move, he thinks, oh, I've got second pair, I'll call. And you're made to look very silly because you know who's going to call you, okay? A quick one before we go to the break. An email from Hedgecock. I think so many people sign up drunk on the weekend for free rolls, they forget they are in, and hence all the sit-outs. It's a good point.
Good point, yeah. But I mean, we can see there from John Ianu's experience.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea to sign up, go out, get drunk, and expect to qualify the next morning.
Why not? Are you a free roller, Tom? Do you play a few free rolls?
Cheap?
No, less expensive.
Yes, inexpensive. I don't play free rolls simply because they are quite a lot of work for not much money, generally. You get a few thousand people sitting down to fight out $1,000 between them. So.
I would say, good place to start though. Loads of free rolls out on the internet today. Try them out. Anyway, we're going to go for a break. Poker Night Live, Barry the Bully Martin, Dr. Tom. See you in a couple of minutes. Hi, welcome back. Poker Night Live, Barry the Bully Martin, Dr. Tom for the next 3 hours or so here on Poker Night Live. Beat the Presenter coming up very shortly. Well, Tom's leg of Beat the Presenter. You're going to be playing in a sit and go. You're going to pick a level, Tom, somewhere between $2 and $50. We'll be finding out very shortly where you're sitting down. You've not sat down yet?
No, I think there's a $5 coming up pretty soon that I should be in. I will be playing under Nick's moniker because I still can't log on to my own account. It's going to be a bit embarrassing, isn't it, after a few months of
Nick's
this?
money and you're playing a $5.
If, well, you know, he's
I'll be steaming in straight for the 50.
Well, he's only got $7 left. I mean, what can I do? It's going to be embarrassing if I've got more money than everyone else after 5 months of this, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
But
It'd be
it
very
could happen.
embarrassing. There you go.
There you go.
So, Beat the Presenter coming up.
Yep.
We're doing that. We'll be looking at the 2 multi-table tournaments we have this evening. Not 1, but 2, I say. And we've got a couple of emails that have flown into the inbox during the break. Now, got an email here from David. Evening, guys. Good to see you back, Dr. Tom, he says. I would like to know what you think this guy was thinking. I was in... Remind readers as well on the show. I was in a 25-50 cent cash game. I'm in the big blind and I get King Queen. Okay, we were talking about King Queen earlier. King Queen suited, that is. Seat 4 limps, seat 5 limps, and the button and small blind fold. I raise to $1 and get called. So only a small raise you've put in. Right. The flop comes 10-8 king. I bet out $2 and get called. The turn comes deuce. I bet 5 all in and get called again. I turn my king queen to show two pairs of kings, and seat 4 shows me a pair of 4s. Seat 5 just mucks. I take the pot and make up for my all-in call in Poker Night Live's $10 multi-table tournament with ace queen against ace king. But if seat 4 was adamant on playing his 4-4, why not re-raise to at least eliminate seat 5? He had us both covered. Stupid play, or should I get back on that table?
Yeah, I think it was just stupid play. It was just passive play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. It's just passive play from the guy with the pair of 4s who thought, well, my hand's not all that good. I don't want to fold it, but I don't want to raise it, which is not great poker reasoning.
Very strange.
Yeah.
We were talking about passive play a little bit earlier to one of the, I think it was Andy who sent us an email in asking, how do we play passive players? And,
There you go. It worked out right for this guy, so
I would
that's what will happen.
write down his name and see if you can check out where he's playing in the cash, possibly. So, thanks very much for that, David. Keep them coming in. Should we have a quick look at the contact details? Why not?
Why not? Since
Why
you did
not,
this
indeed?
so well.
Okay. Poker Night Live's text. There you go. 84222. That's 84222. Make sure you include the word poker. And you can email myself or Dr. Tom here at the show at pokernightlive.co.uk. That's poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And also, you can have your say here on Poker Night Live. Just call 0906 200 70 80. Leave a message and we'll try and play it on air a little bit later on. And there's also the Poker Night Live wonderful website, forums, presenters, information, and a host of a plethora of interesting poker stuff for you. Okay, got a couple of emails. We're going to do them a little bit later on. Let's go flashing our way back into the matrix to see what's going on in the MTT. So it's the second of our. We were looking at the free rolls a little bit, the free roll, should I say, a little bit earlier on, and this is the $5 bounty, as you can see. It's an unlimited $5 rebuys within the first hour with one add-on. Now there are 47 runners actually started this event. Now we've just to confirm, the rebuy period has just ended here. There's 33 players left in this one. And the big stack, I believe, is just a tad over 18,000, which is a very nice position to be in when the blinds are currently 150, 300. So we're going to stay with this table for a couple of hands, and then we're going to go and have a look at how the chip leader's getting on. Short stack, currently 800 chips, and obviously looking to get very busy trying to double up. 5 places paid this evening with a total prize pool of $725. First pays $290, and the 5th position pays $58. That's $58. And I can confirm the doctor has sat down. What was your game of choice, Doctor?
It's a 30. I missed the 5.
Ah, excellent.
But it's not my money, is it? So.
You give us the rules about only having $7 in Nick's account. Slanderous behaviour. Okay, so let's get right into this multi-table while
Everything's changed. I phoned up the producer today to say, has anything changed on Poker Night Live? He said, no, nothing's changed. I come back and find we've got 2 multi-tables, we've got poker news, we've got 2,000 starting chips in Sit and Goes, we've got a 4-colour deck on this screen, Barry's in the anchor. I mean, what else? You know?
Your hair.
My hair?
That's definitely different.
How?
You've had it cut.
Well,
That's very nice it looks as well.
Thank you.
Do you like 4-colour decks? Are you a 4-colour deck player
No,
usually?
I'm not. I hate this. I don't think I can change it mid-game, though.
Okay.
I'm completely confused by this. It's funny because I've been watching it for the last 14 months or so on Poker Night Live, but then I've not been playing. Anyway, as you can see, I'm already finding excuses.
It's just not poker, is
to
it?
complain.
It's just not... What are you doing in a pot with 7-4, can I ask?
I'm not in a pot with 7-4, I folded. You're looking at a previous hand. I wish I was in with 7-4 because I'd have caught 4 on the river.
Why is your cards face up?
Oh, those are my cards. Oh, I see.
You won the pot!
Now that is why I'm in a pot with 7-4.
Ah, very canny play. Anyway, Higgy there on the... well, it's a big old raise. It's 150, 300 the blinds, makes it 15 to play with ace-king, which is somewhat of an overbet. 5 times a big blind, and UK Scott wants to call this with king-queen. We were talking a bit earlier about king-queen being a tough hand to play. And he got away with it lightly. Lucky a king didn't turn up, or he could have quite easily gone broke to the chip leader as well. So not only was he calling out a position with king-queen, he was also calling the chip leader, which are 2 things that I wouldn't suggest as being winning plays. So here we go, here's the chip leader, Higgy 17, our current chip leader in this $5 bounty tournament, looking very pretty on 19.5 grand. Looking very good indeed. I've got this table pretty much bossed at the moment, got a couple of biggish stacks to his left, Penn and S Poker Team 4. So we're going to have a quick look at another table within this bounty tournament. A couple of other big stacks there, Abasak and Prince Sheba. So it's interesting. 9-10 under the gun, doubling the big blind, playing it like he's got a monster, and hello, hallelujah, thank you very much, flop the nuts. Is he going to play it catch up? No, he's going to move all in. Oh dear, dear, dear. Big ad. Now, can we just take one quick look at that hand again, please? Is that possible? Oh dear. Now, if there was ever a time to use the tomato sauce play, now when we say the tomato sauce play, we mentioned a little bit earlier, it's letting your opponents catch up, okay? You've raised under the gun, minimum raise, 2 callers, you've raised with 9-10, hoping to hit something. It comes 8 Jack Queen. You've hit the absolute stone cold goodness, nuts on the flop, and you move all in. What's that all about? I can't understand it. I really can't understand it. There you go. So, not my idea of a play, but yeah, maybe once in, I don't know, 10 goes he's going to get paid by some guy hitting a top pair or 2 pair or something, but dear, dear me. Not even a flush draw on there. Anyway, speaking of flush draws, Prince Sheba's made his flush on the turn there. King Queen against King Queen. Abasak got a little bit unlucky. Not much to speak of on this one. Ace-4 suited limping under the gun. So, no real draw for Swinger there. Prince Sheba hitting top pair. possible flush draw on the board, or flush draw on the board. Prince comes out betting, takes it down. Don't forget, we've got a theme this evening that Dr. Tom and myself have been talking about. Pro plays. These are particular plays that the pros would adopt, or you know, your more advanced player, and they've been, you know, coined names or given names in the time-honoured fashion of poker, as you know, nicknames and stuff, and a few that we've isolated, Dr. Tom and myself, that we're going to be talking about in a little bit more depth a little bit later on. The stop and go play. The good old check raise, the tomato sauce, the limper, as we've spoken about, and Dr. Tom's limp weekly and then raise the re-raise from the blind play.
Yeah, let me just clarify what that was, because I didn't say it quite as clearly as I might have. The situation here is when you'll find a lot in rebuy tournaments where no one's got that many chips towards the end of the tournament. People have got around about 10 big blinds, and the basic situation there is that you raise or you fold. There's no point calling when you've got so few chips. And you're in early position in one of these tournaments. Let's say there's 2 tables left, and you're getting quite close to the final, but you need to double up, and you get dealt ace-jack in early position. Now, ace-jack, if you've got 6 or 7 big blinds, it's too big to lay down. You can't throw that hand away. But there's a danger there that if you come out betting, you'll only get called by people with a better hand. Everyone with a worse hand will fold. So what can you do? I think the only thing you can do is to call. And calling generally isn't wise in that sort of raise or fold situation. But you call, hoping that someone will come over the top, reading that as weakness, and then you go all in. And you won't be able to, you won't be able to push them off the hand there. So it's death or glory. But more often than not, you'll find that they've got king 10 or king queen or something. So you're looking for a double through there. But I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it, Barry. So perhaps the viewers could do our work for us and come up with a name for it. I'm in a pot.
I don't know. Yeah, sorry. Tom got dealt aces and everyone's passed through his raise. What a shame. Look, we're going to crash onto the cash game. We're going to join the bounty and the free roll a little bit later on in our multi-table tournaments. Just to let you know, we've called it a bounty for a reason this evening. It's obviously in most bounty events, someone's stuck a bounty on their head, and that is if anyone knocks out the player SJ Poker team within the freeze-out period, they earn an extra $50 into their account. Obviously, hence the name Bounty. So I believe SJ Poker team's still in, so we'll try and keep an eye on that player during the show. Wow, look at this. 3 big hands in No Limit Hold'em. Ace King suited for Frankie 9999. Poor old Tragic Trev, locked up with the jacks. Pod 8 ball with the pocket queens now.
Come on, Trev.
Can he get away from this with $44 behind him? Need to put another 4 in. Oh, that actually may save the both of them. That flop may have saved Tragic his stack there. The 2 cards you don't want to see when you've got 8 queens or jacks, both an ace and a king. And quite frankly, it's done. Well, Pod's not going to. Pool 8 ball is not going to feel overly fantastic about this flop, but the one that's going to be looking back at this and saying, wow, thank you very much, is the jacks. You know Tragic Trev, don't you, Tom?
Yeah, bumped into him in my local on Christmas Eve. But it didn't end there. Much karaoke and pool and poker.
Maybe a small tipple as well, Christmas Eve?
Yeah. Well, yeah, quite a small tipple.
Excellent.
Or 2.
The house for Frankie in 9999. Putting the value $10 out there just to see if he's going to get some action. Can't think Paul can call this. No, but wow, look at that. Three very big hands in there. in No Limit Hold'em we'll find on this 25-50 cent cash game. And Frankie in 9999 taking down a nice pot. Nice pot indeed. And you have Pigeon Head just overtaken the Ace Queen of Like to Play. Oh, interesting card on the turn. Possible flush draw now for the nut flush draw for Like to Play. And he's only put in $1.50. I think he's priced in now. Yep. Good enough. So let's have a look at some stats, I think, of what's going on in this particular cash table. This is the percentage of played hands that have been won. So Like to Play's down the bottom, they're not doing great, only winning about a quarter of the pots that they're actually in, where Paul 8-Ball is winning well over half, 61%, which is a very nice stat. It's good when you actually compare those particular stats to percentage of hands played and percentage of hands folded pre-flop, which will give you an indication of what type of player these particular players are. So we've got a gut shot draw here for Nobody 66, requiring the 10. Pool 8-Ball is winning with the 4. You have to think if anyone sums up the courage to have a bet here, they're going to take it down, which I would expect Potty to do, but there you go. Nobody's gone from last to first. I'm sure we'll win it with a check. Takes down the $5 pot. Queen Jack getting busy in mid-position there. What do we got here? Pocket sevens for Like to Play. Now, how is he going to play this with the sevens? Are you going to limp to, just going to check it and see a flop, trying it at 7, or are you going to put a power play in? Yeah, why not? It's all been limped to you. No one's really expressed any major interest in this pot by putting any large sums of money in, so you have to think that your sevens are probably good at this particular juncture. That's until A6 calls you and hits a set on the flop.
What a player.
Poor old Like to Play. Pretty good flop for Like to Play with the sevens, but tragic Trev. Well, it's definitely tragic for Like to Play because you can't really think. Now it's possible he's got a jack, but played it very tricky, old tragic Trev. He's going to probably no, it didn't slow him down. The diamonds have come. Straights come, and Trev still raises him on the river. And gets paid, and takes down the pot. Frankie with another big hand there, the pocket queens. And not much behind to get any action from. as thought the queens were good. Another big hand for Frankie there. Ace, king off. And again, not getting any action. No hands behind. Although this time he may get a little more action than he'd want with his ace-jack suited. Trev behind with the queens. We've got ace-10 in the small and pocket nines in the big blind. Lovely old stuff for Tragic Trev here. Now, if there's a time to play the tomato sauce play, I've never actually seen a nicer flop for Tragic Trev. Come on, just flat call, Trev. Don't do nothing silly. That's the way.
Surely a bet from one of these boys.
Well, we've got flush draw for Frankie. I think he may check now. No, he wants to put another bet in with his nut flush draw. I'm sure Trev will just flat call again. Well, if Paul Lakeball still thinks that... No.
It's a shame a diamond didn't arrive, because Frankie would probably think in the betting war that Tragic Trev was drawing to a worse flush.
Or I had something like ace-queen or something like this, you know. Played it very nicely. I think a value bet here from Trev, maybe 10, 12. No, he moves all in. Okay, well, that's never going to get paid, but he's not to know. Frankie was only on the flush draw.
Yeah, I reckon his logic was if he's on a flush draw, he's not going to pay anything. But if he's got a made hand, he may feel beholden to see it to the river.
Possibly. Two more big hands here. Look at this. Pigeon head with the queens. Potty with the slickster. And nobody felt valued in there with the 9-7 suited. Another set for the queens. Wow. I must say I'm going to check here. No. Oh, Potty Dotty makes a decent play with the ace-king and lays it down. And nobody thinks, hold on a second, I've got second pair, this may be good. Isn't timing everything, eh, Hold'em? Pigeon not taking any chances that might be a possible flush draw out there. Yeah, we quickly touched on the themes of this evening. We talk, again, let me just quickly go over. If you've got any plays yourself you'd like to discuss with Dr. Tom and myself, we'll be more than happy to hear them from you via the text or email, or have your say. We're talking about pro plays, the plays that pros would have in their armoury ready to pull out at any time if they think the time is correct. Things like the stop and go play, the good old check raise, the tomato sauce, the limper, and Tom's very lengthy and half the concise Oxford Britannica Encyclopedia collection play, which took about 3 minutes to explain.
Well, that's because it doesn't yet have a snappy name, but it will have by the end of the show.
Do you think so? So, viewers, please, give us a name for Tom's play. I'm not going to go into it again. We've only got another 2.5 hours left of the show. So please, come up with a snappy name for Tom's play. The getting short with ace-jack in early position, flat calling, and then having someone... It's far too complicated, Tom. I'm sorry.
That's because it's a great play.
Yeah.
It's not like, you know, the betting for value play.
No.
Or the limping and catching a flop with a small pair play.
No.
because those are easy plays and easy to describe. But the play I'm talking about is a play born of much experience playing £20 sit and goes.
Yeah. Or even your smaller rebuy tournaments in certain casinos and clubs.
Like the Vic.
Like the Vic. And what a fine gambling establishment it is too.
Well, how do you know? You've been banned.
I have been barred from the casino for well over a year now. And thanks for bringing that one up.
Well, that's all right.
Well, it's nice you invite me the other day. So, oh, why don't you come down the Vic? They got the... Yeah, thanks, Tom. Yeah.
They've got a free buffet.
They got a free buffet and a £200 freeze out you want to play in. Yeah, no, I don't actually want to play in it.
I tell you, put on a dress and I'll sign you in.
I tried that. I'm a lady. It didn't work. Yeah. I should have shaved, I knew that. I really should have shaved.
So you shaved your legs, but not your face.
There's the old king-queen once again popping up. We spoke about that being a bit of a tricky old hand to play. King-queen suited for Potty Dotty. Wow, nobody does like seeing a value flop, doesn't he? Pretty big flop for him, really. Or she, could be. Kajomi, great flop for the nines. Nobody 66, up and down, backdoor flush draw. You going to get busy? Flat call maybe? No. Lets it go. There you go. Right. Quickly leave the cash game. Tom, I'm pleased to report, is still in the sit and go. I'm not going to say too much about how you're doing, but he's still in, which is always handy. Got a couple of emails we're going to quickly do before going back to the multi-table tournament. This is from Howard, aka Macca Man. Hi chaps. Great show as always. Thank you very much for watching, Howard. Please could you tell me how to work out the percentages of your hole cards winning against another, i.e. say you have ace-queen suited and your opponent has jack-jack. I know there is supposed to be an easy way to work it out, and I'm sure Dr. Tom discussed this about a year ago, but I can't remember how it works. So Tom, what is the, hopefully it's not the same lengthy explanation of your play. It's not going to be like that, is it?
No, it's not.
Just a quick one, Howard. I would say there are a plethora of very, very good Hold'em calculators out there that are on a number of sites which you can use, which is always a good way to work out the odds. But I'm sure Tom has a way whereby you can do it very simple pen and paper and work out. So, what is the Dr. Tom method for working out pot odds or pre-flop odds, Tom?
I don't think there is one. You can do it with pen or paper, but it takes an awful long time. There's a very easy way of doing it on the flop or the turn, but that wasn't your question. Pre-flop, the best way to do it is to, as Barry says, stick them into an online poker calculator and it will do it for you. And just get into the habit of learning all the basic ones like, for example, ace-king versus a pair of sixes, ace-king versus ace-queen, ace-deuce versus a pair of sixes, the sort of classic matchups like that. And if I were you, I'd spend a couple of hours, 3 hours, of an evening just going through the common sorts of matchups with one of these online poker calculators and writing them down. I'll tell you what I will do though, Barry, because I believe it's relatively less known knowledge, is talk a bit about the situation where two players have got live cards, no one's got a pair, and how you should calculate the odds on that one. And I worked this out by, as I say, mucking around with a poker calculator. And I developed my own system, which was this. Say I've got ace-king and Barry's got deuce-4, quite a plausible sort of match-up. In that case, I've got 2 cards over my opponent's 2 cards. Then your opponent's outdraw chance starts at 32%. That's the figure you start with. If he's got suited cards, you can add about 4% to it. If they're connecting cards, so let's say he's got 5-6, you can add another 4% there. So he can get himself up to 40%. But the basic sort of outdraw position where he is 32%. Now, say that I've got, let's say, ace-8, and he's got, say, king-4. So in this situation, our cards are threaded. That's what I call it. Again, it's just a name I made up for myself, so I could talk about it with myself. no one else wants to. In that situation, your basic probability of the outdraw, Barry's, because he's got the worst hand as usual, is 36%. So you add 4% to his basic level there. Isn't that right, Barry?
No.
He's been in the situation many, many times, so he should know.
Yes.
Once again, you can add 4% to your hand if it's suited, and around about 4% if they're connecting cards. To the worst hand, that is. Finally, you get the situation where you've got the high card and the low card, and your opponent's got the two in the middle. So let's say I've got ace deuce, and Barry has got, say, king 3. In that situation, he's about 40%. But again, you can add 4% for suited cards, and you can add 4% if they're connected. So if I've got ace deuce and he's got 7-8 suited, in fact, he's got his basic 40% plus 4 for them being suited, plus 4 for them being connected, and he'll be around about 48% there, actually slightly better. So that is my top Dr. Tom's tip.
I was just quickly putting in some, I was looking on a poker calculator here, I was just putting in a few stats and stuff. You said what was it, king deuce, no, ace king against deuce 4. It was 60, I had the 2-4 as suited, by the way. Deuce 4 was 38.7 and the ace king was 61.3.
So that's it. With the deuce 4, basically you're 32%, but they're suited, so it's 36, and then they're sort of connected, so you get half of the other 4%.
Yeah.
It works a treat, this method, believe me.
Now, I put 7-8 suited against ace deuce, so it was it was the under and over against the two middling cards. Now, because the 7-8 was suited, and they obviously connected, it was pretty much a coin flip. It was 48% for the 7-8 suited, 50% for the ace deuce, with about 0.5% each for a tie. So there's, in these matchups, there's very little to choose between them, especially the suited connectors against the under and over, which is the ace deuce.
Yep.
So, I would, very good point to. Who was the email from? Again, it was from Howard. Howard, do yourself a favour, have a little play with it. There is an easy way to work out on the flop as well. Your outs, which is 4% for each out on the flop and 2% per out on the turn, and on the turn. Basically, that's a very simple, crude way of doing it for your outs. So you can work out percentages that way. But it's all well and good because you can actually see someone else's cards. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of insight, Howard, how to work out your percentages, which is always a good thing to know. Anyway, we're going to quickly crack on with the MTT now. Let's go back into the matrix and see where we're up to in the $5 bounty tournament. So we're getting very close to the final table here. We've got 3 tables playing with 18 players left, 3 tables of 6. Got a second in chips there is Mona on 24,360. Our chip leader's got a tad more at 25,500. Both looking pretty strong with the blinds at 300 and 600. Not really having to make any major moves with that kind of chip stack. And just to give you some idea, we started with 47 runners this evening in this multi-table tournament. All starting with 1,500 chips. And we're paying the top 5 this evening. Payouts being the following. First gets 290, second 174, third 116, fourth gets $87, and fifth gets $58 for this $5 rebuy. I'm going to find out. We did have a bounty on one particular player's head, which I believe, there's 3 I believe, sorry, and there's one actually we can see on our table here, SJ Poker Team 3, so it's SJ Poker Team 1, SJ Poker Team 2 and SJ Poker Team 3 that all have a $50 bounty placed on their head. So if you knock that player out, you get $50 deposited into your account, which is very nice indeed. So be interesting to see if any of our players get involved with that particular player on our table to see if we can knock him out and pick up the extra $50, which is always nice. Nice bit of floppage for Noxio 11 there. Picking up the set of tens against pocket fours and doubling up, no less. Very nice. Chip leader on our table, Mona there with 21,000, picking up the ladies. And just flat calling. Wow, Mikey Man gives up his up and down very quickly. And the queens take it down. Talk about odds. What do you think the longest odds are, Tom, between two hands?
Before the flop,
Yeah.
is it aces versus king deuce?
You think so?
It's something like that. I know it's something we talked about before on Poker Night Live.
Yeah. It's got to be pretty close, isn't it? It's the aces are 90-10 over the king deuce, so it's a 9-1 favourite, which is pretty long considering two hands.
Yeah, considering they say any two can win before the flop.
Yeah. Even longer odds would be the ace deuce against the aces.
Really?
Yeah. It's 5.79% against 92.8% with a 1.4% tie. Obviously a possibility of straights and stuff. There you go. So ace deuce against aces. Ace king against aces as well is, you know, which is a more likely matchup, isn't it? In two hands, you've got 92%, well actually 91.95% for the aces, 6.8% for the ace king, with a couple of percent in, 2.5% in there for ties. So there you go. So back to the multi-table tournament, the $5 bounty event this evening. Top pair there for Nitrilo side. And a flush draw as well. So his four of diamonds is good against Mona's king five. He takes it down. Wow, look at this. Pocket queens against pocket jacks. We've seen that a couple of times this evening. We're seeing it here again. 2005 Chelsea. Just a little dinky double the big blind raise. Let's see if Penn wants to get busy. No, and that king may save Penn here from doing a few more chips. King on the river makes it more likely that neither has got a king. Now Chelsea decides to go all in. It's more likely that 205 Chelsea is more likely to get paid there with the other king, but no. Penn decides that there was a possibilities of being beat, which They were correct. Just seen on the email, we have Weisswig has actually emailed us in with a suitable name for your play.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do that a little bit later on, but I think it's a good one. It's a good one.
It's WYSIWYG.
WYSIWYG.
What you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. Thank you very much. Obviously, a regular to the show. Yeah, there you go. Flush here for roses. The gay waiter for roses in the blind. Makes up. And hits top pair. So we're down to 2 tables now in the this $5 bounty multi-table tournament. 14 players left. A6 on makes a... Why not with A6? Fold it around to you on the button. Why not make a little raise? Pretty innocuous flop. I think a continuation bet here, yep. Excellent work. Okay.
I'm out.
You've stopped.
Yeah, I'm out.
Okay. Worth watching?
I think so. I mean, I think there's a few things I can say here to justify my early departure.
Well, it's not that early. It was pretty well timed, actually.
Yeah, but I'm not in the money, Barry.
You know, departing can be such sweet sorrow.
It can be. Fortunately, it's Nick W's money, which is a considerable sweetener.
Well, none of it's our money, is it, when we play Beat the Presenter? It's only our pride that actually makes us try our very best.
It's true, but it's Nick's pride then. Either way, I don't mind.
There you go. Look, quickly, we've got a couple of emails. One from What You See Is What You Get, Weiss. What do you call it? WYSIWYG, there you go. From WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG says, "Hi, great show. Nice to have you back, Tom." Indeed.
Thank you.
"My idea for a name for his move would be the Fly Trap." I like it. "As I see his limp as a sweetener intended to attract a razor for you to snare. Keep up the great show."
Yeah,
What do you reckon?
I quite like that.
The Fly Trap.
The fly trap.
Yeah.
Put out a bit of sticky tape for them to fly into. Could be. Could
Why
be.
not? The fly. I like the Fly Trap.
But keep them coming if you think you've got a better one.
Yep.
Ace Jack, early position.
Oh, please, please.
Okay, you've heard it.
Yeah, you've heard it. We heard it a long time ago.
Doesn't have to be Ace Jack, mind. Could be Ace 10.
Maybe even pocket sevens.
I don't like pocket sevens quite so much.
No.
Don't know why. I think with pocket sevens, you're unlikely to get raised by Ace 5. You'll get raised by overcards or an overpair.
Depends. If you've got a bit of a say so on who. Well, if you understand that you've got maybe a very aggressive player in the small or big blind that takes your move as a bit of a weak player and is going to make that with any 2 cards, then you may be lucky to find them over the one overcard.
Or sometimes maybe a pair of 4s or a pair of 5s or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe you prefer to do maybe pocket 9s or 10s would be a nicer play than 7s. I was just trying to, expand the envelope, as it were.
Yeah, thanks.
It's okay. Okay, one more email for you. Oh, it's a very long one. I think we'll do it. Okay, I believe we've got about 4 or 5
Well, we
minutes.
can take it after the break if we
We'll
can't
give the
finish.
email. I'll read it out, and we can analyse and let it sink in, and we can talk about it after the break before we go to your fine Beat the Presenter, which
It's Nicky, Jim, and Benji Boy.
there you go. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Nicky, Jim, and Benji Boy. Hi guys, great show. Played in our first $5 bounty tournament tonight and did quite well early on. Got about 5,500 by the end of the second level of blinds. It's not bad. Then got a bit involved, showing our inexperience. Went down to about 2,500 by the 6th level of blinds. Got moved tables, and on the table where 2 Stan James players were. We didn't seem to get any hands, and one of the Stan James players had 2,100 chips. The next stand, everybody folds except for the SJ player who raises. It folds round to us, and we have King 7 off suit. I couldn't resist pushing all in, knowing he would call, as I could take him out if I got lucky. So I went all in, and he calls with his Ace-6 suited. Flop comes 8, 9, 10 Jack Queen. I hit a straight, $50 bounty. Get in there, you little beauty, he says in caps. We did feel a little bit embarrassed after gone all in with King 7, but this $50 eases the pain. This is a good beat story, not a bad beat story, which we
Yes.
love to see on Poker Night Live.
It's life affirming.
What do you think about our bad play? Cheers, guys. Keep up the good work. P.S. Dr. Tom, long time no see. Hope everything all right. Baz looking good. Suave. Bit of a smile. Thank you very much, Nicky, Jim, and Benji Boy.
I don't think that's such a
I
bad
don't think it's a bad
There's
play.
a
I think-
bounty on the guy.
You're in pretty late position. It raises round. It folded round to you. You've made a move with King 7. You're getting short. Why not? You're not. We were talking about odds a little earlier. King 7 against Ace-6. You're not in a world of hurt with this kind of hand against Ace-6. Maybe 45, 55, that kind of number. 40,
Nah.
16 possibly.
Exactly, and the pot odds don't apply here because you've got the bounty on his head. So I think that's the percentage play you made there.
And we worked out that only the top 5 get paid in this particular event, and 5th was playing $58. So you've already near enough up to fifth position by beating that bounty. So hats off to you for that wonderful bounty.
Well played.
Thanks very much for that, Nick, Jim, and Benji Boy. Now, Beat the Presenter.
Yes.
Is it
painful?
Is it painful?
It's not painful, Barry. I'm not surprised I got knocked out.
Bit rusty?
No, it's just that the way things worked out, I don't really think I could do anything else. Here's me justifying already, but I think I can hold up my head high and say that Nick played terribly. No, seriously, I think when the proof of the pudding at the end of the day is resolved, because it is a game of 2 halves, we'll see that sometimes you've got to play bad aces. That's what I'm going to say. Having said for the last 12 months that you shouldn't play bad aces.
Exactly, I was about to say, out of all the commentators on Poker Night Live, you are the one person that bangs on. Don't play ace rag. Don't play ace rag. Do not play ace rag. And you're justifying, I played ace rag and I've
You've got to mix up your game, Barry. You've got to mix up. Sometimes you've got to play well, and sometimes you just got to play badly. Otherwise, people get a read on you that you play well all the time.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. I mean, Ace-9, it's big hand, isn't it?
What position? That doesn't look good. That's not looking good. Okay, look, we're gonna take a short break very shortly, but we're gonna come back with Beat the Presenter. We've got 2 multi-table tournaments to finish off, and a number of emails to get through as well. So let's watch Tom play this. Should be Tim. You'll change your name by default to Tim. Join us after the break. Let's watch Dr. Tom go broke. Hi, welcome back, Poker Night Live. The last couple of hours of the show, and quite a packed last couple of hours we've got indeed. Beat the Presenter, we're going to watch very, very shortly.
Yeah, it shouldn't last too long.
Okay. It lasted 40 minutes or something, didn't it?
I think I came 6th, actually, yeah.
Oh, you're not supposed to. They see you've just killed it.
Why?
It's like it's like the grandmother saying, "Oh, here's your present, dear, and it's the 23rd of December. I bought you some socks." There's just no, there's nothing to look forward to now.
Well, I might be wrong. I might have come fifth. It's like saying it might be socks or it might be handkerchiefs.
It could be, or it could be a tie.
Or it could be a tie. Oh, I see. No, right, yeah, tie. I thought maybe I tied for money, but I haven't tied for money. I
No.
lost it all, believe me.
Absolutely.
But it's Nick's,
Look,
so
we're not going to try and confuse you anymore. We've got a couple of emails. Look, before we go on to emails, like we said earlier in the show, and we've said many times on Poker Night Live, it's your show. We want you to interact with us. We want you to get in contact with us as much as you possibly can, and using some type of electronic device. The text. So text the word poker to 84222. That's 84222. You can also email us here at Poker Night Live, and the email address, I'm sure you know, is poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And you know what? Why don't you have your say? As a viewer, we respect your say. Get busy, 0906 200 7080. And not forgetting the fine, lovely, gorgeous Poker Night Live website, pokernightlive.co.uk, the forum, the presenters' profiles, everything you ever want to know about Poker Night Live, and loads of other excellent information about poker in general. Now, without any further ado, I think we should get straight to your already much hyped Beat the
Exit.
Presenter.
From the sit and go.
Yes.
Let's have a look then. I think, to be honest, Barry, I think I can hold my head up high and say I made no mistakes here, but let's have a look.
Well, this is from the top. Oh, look at this.
I love the way I play this hand. To be honest, I was talking to you, Barry, and then you said, oh, look, you've got 7-4, what are you doing in the pot? And at that point, I didn't have many options. So I don't think you can slag me for how I played this hand.
Hold on. Your early position, you've got 7-4 and you've called. Please explain that one,
I
Tom.
can't remember why I called.
Now,
Are you sure the dealer button was really there when I played it?
I know maybe, I know I'm considered as one of the loosest players as the presenters, but you, May and James, possibly the two of the more conservative, rock-like players amongst the presenters.
Well, that's what we tell people.
And you're trying to, well, I've seen you play. You're trying to loosen the thing up 7-4. Are you trying to play under the guise of Nick to fool people?
I can't remember why. I think I must have pressed the wrong button. But, I mean, fair credit to me, Barry.
You actually was looking across me saying, no, it's not me. Because you didn't know it was you, did you? Be honest.
I don't know what happened there, but I won the pot. I must have played it well.
Chip leader. You are the chip leader.
Am I? So I am. How did it go so wrong? OK, well, we'll ignore the 7-4, because I did have a genuine sort of loss of consciousness at that point. But now I can hold my head up high and say, after the 7-4, I don't think I played anything wrong, but we'll see.
Now, just to let you know, they've increased. Interesting thing about Poker Night Live now, we've put some new TV tables, 3 brand new TV tables that we're going to introduce to the sit and goes. TV table Shelby, which is a $10, TV table Douglas, which is a $20, and TV table Nicholson, which is a $30. Now, all these tables have new structures. The starting chips are 2,000 instead of the old 1,000.
Terrific.
Blinds go up every 12 hands, and the top 3 get paid. So a little bit more play. Did you notice that there was a bit more play?
I did, terrific. 2,000 chips and the blinds much slowed. So we got to the sort of push all in stage considerably later.
Yeah, I noticed you were, well, it didn't feel like there was many players going out in the early stages.
No.
Because the need to get, well, let's analyse this. With the 2,000 and 7,000 chips, I suppose you'd have to say that, the urge to get involved in the earlier stages is much reduced.
Well, I mean, there's 2 ways of looking at it. One is that you can hang on, but then there's no reason to. It just, basically, the only thing that definitely makes a difference with more chips is that you've got longer implied odds at the start.
Yep.
So those implied odds hands become more playable.
And when you say implied odds, you mean the possibility of doubling up with, maybe suited connectors against a big pair if you feel that there's a big hand out against you?
Yeah, or take the case of a small pocket pair. I mean, you're trying to limp in with a small pocket pair, and if you get raised, you might have to fold. But it's not necessarily the question of how big the raise is, it's a question of how many chips you've got left. So, for example, if I limp with a pair of twos and someone raises me and I call, it doesn't really look like a pair of twos at this point, certainly not if it's a heads-up pot. So you can still get value out of that play, provided you can relatively often get all your opponent's remaining chips when you do catch your deuce. Now, I'm in the spot because I'm on the big blind, Barry.
I can see you're in the big blind, and it's been unraised, and you don't even fancy a pop at this after
I don't even fancy it now.
a number of
It
checks.
gets worse and worse.
Because the pocket tens and the pocket sixes have absolutely closed up shop, because with the ace, king, and queen out there,
Yeah.
which is fair enough. But you wasn't to know that.
No, well, I'm not having a pop because someone can easily make a call there without making a raise. So the fact that there's no action with all those high cards on the board doesn't necessarily mean that someone's got nothing. Just means they're going to call rather than bet. Now, I mean, the small blinder, I remember having to think about this, and I was watching the Magic Sheps play, and it was fairly sort of standard, decent play.
You're thinking
And I
if
was
you can
gonna,
nick this?
I was going to have a nick, and then I suddenly thought, oh, hang on, maybe he's going to, with all these spare chips, I thought, he might well decide he can afford to call me and see what's going to happen on the flop. I just suddenly got the collywobbles about being
What do you
the
think? A nice
presenter,
flop
'cause-
here. You're up and down.
Yeah, now once I catch that flop, of course I bet. Yeah, no question in my mind. But I think normally I might have had a pop from the small blind before the flop.
I would
there.
probably have done that if I had a weaker holding than 6-8 suited. It's, you know, 6-8, as much as it has got a little bit of potential.
No, that's fine by me.
Like
'Cause
Jack deuce or something, I might have raised.
yeah, but you see, I like the potential because then I've got my cake and I'm eating it. If I miss completely, I bet, obviously, because I've
Yep.
represented. And if I catch something, now the world is my lobster. You know, I can slow play it, or I can bet it out on a semi bluff or whatever. But I see that as a boon having those outs. So I'm back up to 2050 there, but now only second place. Oh no, third place. No, second place. Yeah, so doing all right.
Wow, look at this. Kings
6-4.
against queens here. A limp from the kings. Tricky, tricky. Abersack sitting pretty with the ace-jack behind. Any action? Yep. One of the kings. I'm going to pop it back here with the kings now, I think, after maybe one call or a flat call. Oh, look at this.
And I think he's got to be prepared to surrender it now, isn't he?
Yeah, it's horrible with kings. You always feel with kings, you always feel like the ace always comes out, don't you?
Yeah.
It always feels like that. I know it's, you know.
Yeah, it's only going to come down on the flop one time in 6.
Yep.
If someone's got an ace, more often if someone hasn't, but pretty rare.
But that, you know, that just shows that he really should have been re-raising there. He's limped. He's gone raise call. I've now got to make it 300-400.
I don't really blame him. I mean, the ace normally won't come, and he might trap someone for all their money. I mean, don't forget we're talking about those implied odds. And he got rid of the kings easily against a small bet on the flop.
Yep.
Now, if he can do that, I think he can make money. He can make that money back and much more from when the ace doesn't come. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind a raise either for the reasons you described.
Full house for the ace-7. 7's over 3s. Nothing for Abersack. And this is when you were talking to me. I'm thinking, hello, what's Tom going to do with the rockets? Unfortunately, you raised, and
Everyone can see your eyes drifting to the computer screen.
yeah, I'm like, hello. You never thought about limping here, Tom, and trying to be a bit tricky with the implied odds of the 2,000 chips?
I need a very good reason to limp with a hand like this when there's more players behind me. I think I'm going to get called normally. I mean, normally I will get called. I just didn't on that occasion.
If you're in, like, I don't know, in the cut-off or the button, you're going to limp?
I don't think so, because I almost never limp in those positions with anything, so it just sticks out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And on a good day, you get raised anyway from the small blind, the big blind, when you bet in late position, because they think you're at it. So I don't mind.
No.
So in terms of hands, the only two big hands I've had so far are the aces and the 4-7. So I'm waiting, but I can afford to wait now with...
Well, after two very big hands like that, you can afford to wait.
Yeah. Yeah,
And a semi-marginal, slightly large hand with the 6-8 suited as well. You can't forget that one.
that's right, yeah. I mean, it doesn't play itself like the 4-7 or the aces. You could have
Takes a little bit of creativity,
Yeah.
but in the hands of an artiste like yourself. Oh, nice flop there for the 6s. Now, can he play the tomato sauce number, Abasak? Come on, don't be silly. Good man.
But that's enough catching up, I think. Time
That
to
is
bet.
enough, yeah. With the straightening cards as the 7 and the flushing as well. Now time to put in a small bet to stop any nasty draws against you.
Turned out there was nothing to be scared of.
Nope. Just to let you know, for the viewers at home, we're actually watching Dr. Tom here in the Beat the Presenter. And if you're looking around the table and thinking, hold on, where's the name of Dr. Tom? He's actually playing under the bankroll of Mr. Wealthall, Nick_W. Thought we'd just put that one in there, Tom, just in case someone comes to the table and thinks, what's going on here? I was reading something on the Poker Night Live forum, which is extremely lively, very informative, that some of the viewers actually said, why don't we have Beat the Presenter in the cash game?
It's not a bad idea. I mean, it doesn't quite have the narrative drive of a tournament.
No.
Oh, you do a Kenneth Williams impression.
No. Oh, mate. No, I don't know, really. Anyway, go on.
Well, it doesn't quite have that narrative drive, you know. It hasn't got a sort of wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, win it, lose it, you know, all ins.
No, there's definitely not, a start, finish, and an end, is there, of a cash game?
That's right.
Well, unless you keep going broke. When it's the start of your bankroll, a middle, and an end of your bankroll when you've lost your last dollar.
And now with the bigger starting stack, then I think there's more play in these.
Yeah.
Now, when I got this 8-9 suited, I was thinking...
Steal?
I'm going to steal. Then I thought, wait a minute, maybe I should only be stealing the situation with suited 8-9. And I think Cato puts in a bet or a limp, and that's enough to dissuade me from getting into the pot. But it's good to have standards, even though they're a bit arbitrary. 8-9 suited is, better than 8-9 offsuit. Yeah, he limps and I lose interest. So I think I decided by that point, no,
why would a limp make you lose interest? If I was thinking about calling with the 8-9, a limp would only increase my interest.
Calling, yeah, but I'm not interested in calling it. I want to bet or fold.
Okay.
It's a pretty naff hand. So I'm looking to take the pot down with a
So
bet.
you're not playing 8-9 because it's 8-9, you're just playing because of your position. It's irrelevant what hand you've got.
Well, the fact that it's connecting, I've got some possible surprise value on the flop. But basically, yeah, if it's folded to me on the button, I'm looking to make the blinds grumpily surrender their money. Now, I haven't a clue why I called there. Oh, I remember.
Well,
no, I've forgotten.
Late position,
Yeah, call for
pocket
the implied
sixes,
odds.
trying to hit a 6 and get paid.
That's right. I get 8s in a minute and I play it differently, but that's exactly what I was doing. The classic implied odds limp.
Did nothing wrong. I think Charles found out with a couple of checks that his jack's probably in front now.
Notice how I avoid betting into the top pair there, Barry?
Yeah.
Notice how I call.
Yeah. Notice how I go broke on this particular hand.
So I'm exactly back where I started. And I wonder, actually, just as a matter of academic interest, whether my equity here is any different because the other stacks now being something other than 2,000, whether I necessarily have more equity with the same number of chips here than I would have had at the top of the tournament. And I think the answer is it's probably fractionally higher.
The average stack is still 2,000.
Yeah, but
Same amount of players, the blind levels have gone up, but your equity's not changed.
No, it can be, because it depends on, for example, if there were 7 players or 6 players there with 1 chip and 1 with all the remainder, I'd have much more equity.
With 1 chip?
If I've got my 2,000, 6 players have got 1 chip and the 8th player has got the remaining chips, my equity goes through the roof.
Yeah, well, of course.
Here's the 8s, I bet them up. What am I going to do? I've been folding and folding and folding. I don't really want to call, but I don't want to play these in the same implied odds way.
It's very marginal, though. Your
Here,
current
makes almost
equity
no difference.
is
You need extreme
Oh,
low
absolutely.
stacks for it to make a
But
difference.
yeah, with this many players left, and everyone's still on forfeit. Well, Balrog's just put his blind in and it's gone under 1,000. But you wouldn't say anyone's in major trouble.
No. Walk for 69 offsuit. If you are interested in doing these equity calculations, then look at the independent chip model, and if you type that into a search engine, you can probably find an automatic one which will do the calculations for you, because they are extremely fiddly and very difficult once you get more than 4 players in a tournament. And just type in different chip stack sizes. Assume that there's, say, 8 players with, or 10 players with 1,000 chips each to start off with, and see how unevenness in the chip stack values changes the equity. And what you'll find is that until you get very near the bubble, basically on it or one before it, there's almost no equity to be had by being in the tournament. The only equity you have is by virtue of increases on your original chip stack. Being in it has no particular value until you get very close to the bubble. Although, of course, it is a minimum requirement. So I was probably already thinking what I was going to do with Jack 8 off and the small blind if it was folded round to me, but it wasn't, so I can easily let that go.
Yeah, no one's really stuck their head above the parapet saying, well, you know, I'm playing really aggressive, or no one's playing particularly tight. It's all very pretty much ABC stuff. So you can't think anyone's getting out of shape. Wow, nice turn card for the Magic Sheep. Well, he thinks it's a nice turn card, but Charwell's thinking, thank you very much, 2 pair.
If only I'd known, Barry, what was out there, I'd have chucked in a bet with the deuce 4.
Yeah, there's a load of old filth, isn't there? Deuce 5, deuce 4, 4, 5 and 2, 9.
I'm fairly heavily dominated with no live cards.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant indeed.
Yeah. Have a sack with the straightforward bet out, taking it down.
And I was thinking of a pop here, but I think I decided that a king was just simply a positional play, but then king deuce off.
Filthy.
It is such a filthy hand. It's
horrible.
enough just to say, well, don't even bother.
I'd rather 2-3 than king deuce, I must say. I think you'd have found some action behind you with the ace jack anyway.
Now, I've got jack king off here, and I put in a minimum bet here. I don't much like this hand at all. I think it's often overplayed.
It is. It's not really a hand you want to be seeing too much action with.
No, but I've been playing pretty tight, and there's a chance I'll take down the blinds with just this. And also,
But Charwell's thinking to himself, OK, have some of this.
he's correctly read that as I was hoping there was a chance that someone would lay off a bit, thinking that, well, he might have a big hand. But Charwell, who's one of the looser players at the table, playing quite well, I think, in this tournament, correctly read it. But I don't like putting in a big bet with that hand because I get it slapped back at me too often. Even a call, if I put in a 3.5, 4 times a big blind and I get called, to be honest, I'm prepared to shut down.
You really don't know.
You don't know where you are.
No.
So I thought with my tight image, I could possibly get something out of it with a minimum raise and keep the damage limitation low. I wonder what would have happened if I put in a proper raise. If Charwell would have folded, then of course clearly I played it wrong. But if he comes back...
Yeah, you have to think to yourself, is it at the minimum raise, look a little bit kind of a feely, weak bet, and is this 200 an over the top, thinking to himself, you know, was it a weak bet? Is he re-asking a question? That's what the bet was.
That's the way it worked out. But then if Charwell's got a decent hand, of course he raises me on a genuine basis, and then I've lost more money.
He may have made it exactly the same raise with pocket kings, queens, ace king or something, you know, quite easily.
So as far as I'm concerned, I kind of had to play that hand, and I got away from it reasonably cheaply.
And that's the value of having more chips in this particular sit and go. It allows you the option to make a couple of these, you know, the re-steal, the re-raise against, you know, someone you think's in late position making a pop at your blinds, or you know, when you're on the button.
Notice I chucked away ace-7 there under the gun without too much
Absolutely,
thinking.
absolutely.
And on this occasion, correctly. So there you go, Barry. I mean, I may have got stuck with bad aces later on in the tournament, but at least I got away from one of them.
Good to see. Nice flop for Cat. Check, check, maybe? Come on. You've got to check the ace check there, haven't you, Tom?
Catch up, baby.
Don't you think so?
I think so. It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah. You're going to lose the nines immediately. The only thing you really could hope for is Charwell sitting there with ace queen or ace king.
You see, if Charles got an ace, he's going to bet it at some point.
Yes.
If he hasn't got an ace, he's going to fold.
Yeah. So the bet's not going to work. There's only two hands you really... Well, there's two hands that you're beating you're going to get paid with is the ace king and ace queen. And you're going to find out that that's going to be coming, as you said, a bet's going to be coming if you do check. Maybe not on the flop. Match up of a couple of ace kings there. I'd rather be in Balrog's position with the on the button, but I think with the short stack at 880, Gulow's, I think, going to muster a call here, isn't he, for the extra
yeah, he's not
640.
happy, but he's got a call.
Yeah.
He's not happy about it. He doesn't think he's likely to be up against ace queen, really. And he'll be pleased.
Backdoor flush draw?
Oh,
no.
Nah.
Choppy choppy. The old suited 4-7.
I honestly can't remember what I do with this.
Yeah, I can't see you seeing a flop here with the suited ace king behind, though.
Nope. That's probably what gets me away from it, Barry.
Yeah.
There's a raise. The blinds have crept up to 40-80 now, and I'm sitting there with 25 big blinds, slightly less.
In good shape.
So, but the trouble is, of course, that in a normal MTT, the blinds don't double, and that is the killer aspect of a sit and go.
Yeah, you could probably wait one more level before really, you know, getting out of shape. But
sure.
after 320, 640, things do start to get a little interesting. King deuce again.
You see, I wrongly said that I thought aces versus king deuce was the worst matchup.
Yeah.
I knew it was king deuce.
Kings against king deuce.
That's right. What a Waster has got in touch. It's king king versus king deuce. So thanks for that, What a Waster.
Yeah, well, we put it through the calculator. It's about 95% to 5%.
Pretty evil.
Pretty nasty stuff.
That's the sort of hand that the devil makes the outdraw with.
Yeah. Here comes deuce deuce. Could be a very nasty situation for Alan Thompson here. Nice flop for the tens. It's got to fancy his chances.
Cat's got him covered by 10 chips.
Yeah, and I think he may set him in here. Oh, it's the minimum raise.
And look at this, Alan's just one pip over, so he's either up against ace-9 or a better pair, because there's no draw there.
But can he lay it down? And he just flat calls.
That is interesting and
Well,
strange.
can you? I don't think you can call in that spot after the
No.
minimum re-raise. You either push in thinking you're in front, or you fold thinking you're behind.
You've got to
There's no
decide
draw,
there.
is there?
He could have ace-king, ace-queen. You know, it's possible. Then you want to raise
But
it.
then push it in.
Yeah,
If you think he's
absolutely.
got an overpair, then pass.
Decision time on the flop.
Calling was not an option for me in that spot.
Unless he's hoping and praying that on the occasions that Cat has got ace-9, he checks it down to the river. And on the,
But still options of bigger cards coming out and being scared off.
let's have a look at this ace-3 and see if Nick misplays it, shall we, Barry? No, he doesn't.
Excellent work.
If only he'd been consistent like that all the way through.
Well, you could have easily nicked it there.
Yeah. Wonder why I got the collywobbles. Not sure.
Why did you get the collywobbles with ace-3? Didn't fancy it? Still felt that you was in fairly decent shape with your 1800 and the blinds thus?
No, that wouldn't be it. I mean, you've got to risk those chips at some point. I assume, I just suddenly thought, I'm very conscious of my own table image, and I must have just thought to myself, at this moment it looks like I'm about to nick, so I should fold.
Okay. The Dolly Parton. What are you going to do with the Dolly Parton?
With the dolly,
With the Dolly Parton, it's a good hand, the 9 to 5. It's not actually.
oh,
I think it's a. If you folded ace-3, then it's a a no-brainer, really, isn't it? Especially when Cat comes out raising before you with the 3-5.
well, what a player. Gets me off a hand that's dominating him.
Well,
That was dominating him and Alan Thompson.
we tell them too much here on Poker Night Live. We've given away far too many trade secrets.
So still got all 8 players in, which is testimony to the new blind structure. And Cat has caught with his Jack-King off hand. Sounds painful.
Only with his left.
And I don't think he's going to be in danger here.
No.
No, Gallo folds his straight draw. Don't know what the dwell up is in Adolf. Maybe I was talking about the fly trap hand.
Possibly.
Minimum raise there. Charwell trying to do what I was trying to do with the King Jack. Only it works for him. So Charwell got a reasonable stack there, and Cat also the big stack. And these blinds will be going up soon now. Well, that should
Yeah,
take it
you've been-
down.
You've been very tight with the ace, with the 1800, Tom, I must say. Kept it very, keeping it very tight.
Do you think I've missed a few tricks to Nick?
I think so. I think you could have. All right. I know we're only talking 120 chips at a time, but it's still adding, 8% or so to your stack.
What hands? With the ace? The ace three?
The ace three, just to get into a bit of a flow, because
I'm looking now.
if you've not nicked in late position for a few rounds, one, it looks like you're going to nick, but if you do it, you may get paid off when you have a hand a little bit later on.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't see. I didn't see any clear nicking situations. I mean, you could always nick. If it's folded around to you and you're in a cut-off or one before the cut-off, you can nick with any hand.
Yeah.
Sure, you can. Whether it's a value play in the long run, it depends.
No, but you had marginal hands to nick with, ace rag.
Yeah, I don't mind waiting.
But no, I don't. I can't flag up and say you played anything disastrously, considering that you've got 2,000 in chips to start.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got Balrog and Alan Thompson, both pretty short.
Big move. Well, Barrel must call. He's in too
Well, it's
deep.
absolutely got a call. And I can't believe the Magic Sheep would actually make that play against him, thinking he was in front. Nice turn, loads of outs, and there's one of them. And we have our first
Yeah.
party, Balrog UK. So look, there's one bonus for us. You're not out first.
You mean Nick's not out first?
Okay. Nick W, aka Dr. Tom. is not
Dr.
out
Tom, who's
first.
possessed him.
Indeed.
And I'm denied here. Of course I was going to nick here, Barry.
Yeah, right.
But I can't now.
No, of course not.
There's an all-in man. I mean, I could try and create a side pot with it.
Well, look,
but
you had 2 live cards.
Well, we've been seeing lots of ace-9s so far in this game. Here's one. And now I think I do have to get some action. Well, I need to put in a
Isn't
bet
timing
here.
everything in this game?
Yeah. Now look at this. The one thing I don't want to see when I bet here is a call. If he raises, I can get out of there. If he folds, happy days. I just don't want a call because I don't quite know where I am. I've got to worry about the ace, but there's
The worst person to call as well is the button, because it's the only one that's got position on you as well.
Yeah. Now I've missed here. I checked to find out where I am. I'm not a believer in necessarily following
dear,
through.
the worst possible card.
I'm cognizant, shall we say, of the possibility that it's ace versus ace. So I'm checking again.
Cognizant. Okay.
Yeah, good word. 1,040 in the pot, 320. Well, I can't fold. And the only good thing about this pot here,
Pairs up.
I'm hoping there's a split here if he's got an ace. The only good thing is he doesn't bet at me on the river because I don't think I can fold. So he leaves me 920 chips. So nasty situation.
He's done nothing wrong really. He's made it cheap. He's made it cheap on the turn,
Yeah, I mean, thank God he did because I'd have to call for more.
and
I
you'd
think.
probably go broke on the river if he comes out betting,
Yeah.
because he's got one of the hands that has got you dominated. As far as, you know, if he's got ace 10 or something, which he could quite easily have called with when you've raised.
Yeah, I think he did leave some chips on the table there that he needn't have.
Yeah.
He was worried about the paired board, but... So now I'm in trouble. Blind's 80, 160, and I'm sitting there with 6 big blinds, so it's fold or raise, obviously, at this stage.
Oh dear.
It's amazing how suddenly the blinds are a terrible problem.
The blinds are upon us.
And some vicarious revenge there where Magic Shep catches his ace and it's no good. Not my favourite hand, but it is suited, and if I'm going to get called, it's going to be by a better hand, and then the suitedness does help, so that's certainly enough to swing me for an all-in. There it goes. Good enough for you, Barry?
Absolutely. King Jack suited, why not indeed?
I don't like it much, but
No, if
delighted
someone
to
calls
see
you,
fold.
then, you know, hopefully you've got 2 lives.
Yeah.
But it gives you a bit of breathing space now.
Yep, but unfortunately the blinds go up in 2 hands, or is it? No, it's the next hand when I'm on the big blind, and that's the problem because it's going to be difficult to fold when I'm putting in a third of my stack, and that is a trouble.
No, you're right. You're okay.
Okay, it's the following hand.
You're going to get your blind nicked off you. I'm sure Alan Thompson's going to be moving in here with the pocket 9s. I would. Yep. Not going to get any business.
What do you mean? Of course he's not going to get any business. So obviously still looking for a point to get my chips in here. But Jack 6.
Problem was you've got quite an aggressive player to your right in Cat, who's been raising at every juncture whenever he possibly can, with Deuce 4 and you know, Ace 5 is obviously I believe a raising hand for Cat. Let's see if he does as planned. Yeah.
And you can see from the speed of my fold there that I decided I wasn't
You
playing.
already had your fold button clicked, which was... And the Magic Sheep having none of it.
Wow. What a play.
It's a big move.
It's a very big move.
Well,
2 live
I'd,
cards.
you know,
phenomenal.
I did say that Cat probably going to raise with this, and Magic Sheep has obviously worked out the same as us, that it was a standard play for Cat to nick on the button.
Lovely play. Still, it takes courage to do it with 7-10 off. In a
Absolutely.
televised tournament.
Absolutely.
Well played.
Yeah, hats off to Magic Sheep. Well played. But that's the strength of the re-raise, you know. It makes it very, very difficult for the initial raiser to call with, you know, even if he had ace jack, even ace queen in that position, very difficult to call.
Yeah. Yep. Well, here it is. It's Queen Jack, which I don't think that's a great hand at all. It's overplayed by lots of people.
No, but it's going to, if it's
But I must
folded to
move.
you have to move in here because you're going to be picking up 240, which is over a quarter of your stack.
Yeah, you're right. I must move. I hate it, but I've got to, and I'm delighted when they fold.
Yes.
Now, I've just played, and I'm worried about being dominated with this ace-5, and you see I let it go there.
Yep. Well, that's one nice thing about Queen Jack is if someone calls you with a monster hand like Ace King or something, you have got 2 live cards.
Yeah. And they're pretty dead here.
Yeah. Oh dear.
So Alan
Not
Thompson
the
in
best
fact.
timing here for Alan Thompson, but drawing absolutely dead. It's up for offsuit 6, which he didn't catch, and our 7th place finisher.
King Deuce again.
And you're our short man,
Yeah.
Tom. But still.
But the blind's now going up very, very soon. I think they're going up next hand.
We got 8 big blinds there, something like that.
Yeah, but if they go up, it's going to be...
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
3 or 4 big blinds.
So, basically, it's in the hands of the poker gods for a double through, and then it's back in my hands.
Yeah. Well, both caught a little piece of this. Cat with 2-3, gut shot 5. Oh, sorry, the end of the straight 5. 2 pair for Magic. You've not got the best seat here looking at how the table's kind of worked out. You've got quite an aggressive player to your right and looks like a pretty savvy player to your left. So, not the ideal seat.
No, although now it doesn't make any difference.
No.
But yeah, you're right. But I don't think I've been outplayed particularly. It's just the way the cards have fallen.
Yeah.
They've kind of played themselves. Maybe I should have slow played those aces, eh, Barry?
Ifs, buts and maybes.
Hey. So it is. I'm in with ace 9. I've got about a third of my chips in the middle.
Oh dear.
And there's not really anything. I can't fold here.
Can we smell the end?
I've got a strong possibility I'm behind here, but it's too big to fold.
Oh dear.
Can you fold there, Barry?
Yeah, I can actually.
You can fold?
Yeah, I think that Abasak's not exactly in a position whereby, you know, it looks like a steal.
Well, the thing is...
You're short stacked, okay, you're short stacked. You've got to expect that, you know, you wouldn't want to be bluffing in that position, would you?
No, but if I'm Abasak, I might make the same play with something like Queen King, because I know that the opponent, let's call him Nick, in the big blind, will be calling with a lot of hands that are worse than King Queen, and will be folding hands which are not that far behind, 2 live cards, which might well outdraw him. So I think Abasak can bet there with a worse hand from ace 9. Plus, of course, I've got the dead money from the small blind, which is non-negligible, plus, of course, a huge investment in the pot myself. I'd be interested to see, for example, what the matchup is with ace 9 and ace king. I guess it's going to be something like 27...
70-30. 70-30.
But I'm specifically worried about a dominating hand, and there's no guarantee that it is a dominating hand that's up against
No, but
them.
it wasn't like, you know, Abasak was in late position nicking your blind. It was in a very early position. That it didn't look like a steal.
It didn't, but I still say that there are hands there who might well bet
You
in
think
good
he's
faith.
going to raise with
I'm
pocket
ahead of.
eights or something like this?
Well, for example, there may certainly going to be under pairs a possibility, but the chance of someone having a higher ace in that situation, there's 5 other players, 10, Jack, Queen, King, 20%. 20%. So I've just got to discount it. I know there's a good possibility that it's actually an ace king, but it can be other hands, and I don't think I can fold there. But you would.
I know you've got a lot of chips invested in the pot, but probably ace 9 is not the one I'm going to be really getting that busy with. Just
But I wasn't getting busy with it. I mean, I'm already halfway into the pot.
but you've not flat called and then pushed in on the flop. You've not adopted the stop and go play. Now the problem you've got
I've got no plays available to me. That's the trouble.
you haven't got enough chips to make that
Yeah.
play, and that's what I'm saying. You can only push or you can't call. Your calling's not an option.
Sure.
It's either folding or raising, and you're right. You had a lot of chips invested in it, half your chips in there. So, but there were possibilities being very much dominated. So were you getting the odds to call if it was a 70-30 situation, ace king against ace 9?
If I can see his hand, I must fold. But even then, it's not a huge pot odds error, and there are so many ways that, in fact, I could be ahead. You know, there are hands there where I could be ahead. I mean, king, queen, king, jack. He may well be playing with his hands because most of the time I won't have a hand that's ahead of those hands. And on the few occasions that I am, well, he's not in terrible trouble anyway because I've only got limited chips. So I wouldn't have been amazed there to see him turn over a worse hand than ace 9. I wasn't terribly surprised that he turned over a better one. But when I'm so far into the pot, in the end, it's just about expectation.
Okay, well, 6th position. As far but to be fair, it wasn't the worst effort in the world. You had aces, didn't get any business. Besides that, didn't really have any hands to speak of. No big matchups to increase your chip stack. So that's just the rub of the green sometimes, Tom.
Well played, Nick, but got to work on some of your technique, I think.
Yes. Anyway, we've got a couple of emails before we go to our last break of the evening.
Great.
So let's crack on with those. Email from Robert, disgruntled in Leamington. Dear Bazza, he says, I was dismayed yesterday afternoon watching Monday night's repeat. Upon going to bed, I was leading in the poker joke competition with a particularly hilarious Phil Hellmuth dog gag. Should we repeat it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you did say at the start of the show this was going to be Sensible Night Live. But, I mean, if it's a good joke, do it.
OK, what is the difference between a dog and Phil Hellmuth?
I don't know. What is the difference between a dog and Phil Hellmuth?
After 8 years, the dog stops whinging. It was quite good, actually. Yes.
I could take or leave it.
Yeah, OK. Anyway, when I watched the repeat, I was horrified to hear that I'd been fiendishly outdrawn on the river by a stupid pizza joke. A bad beat in anyone's eyes.
What was the pizza joke?
Not bad. Not bad, actually. What is the difference between a pizza and a poker player?
I don't know. What is the difference between a pizza and a poker player?
At least the pizza can feed a family.
Very good.
Not bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
prefer that one.
I like that one. Anyway, today I actually bought a Meat Feast pizza just to test out the theory of the winning joke. And let me tell you, a meat pizza from Fred's Pizza Emporium didn't feed a family of 4. Clearly, this makes the winning joke void. Only joking, Bazza, but I'm sure I was ahead on the Matt Broughton chuckleometer because he was doing I was telling Jake, was going, ha ha. Yeah. No. Anyway, Stantis in LA has now my glasses and my acceptance speech is in the bin. Robert, what can I say? I'm sorry, okay? It was a cracking effort. I liked the Phil Hellmuth gag. It was my winner, okay? But Matt on his, he said no. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Here's my poker joke, right?
Oh, no.
What have Potty Dotty and... Was it Potty Dotty who made the Full House on the River? No, the Trip 8s on the River?
Yes.
What have...
Your delivery, by the way, has been absolutely exemplary, I must say.
Thank you. I learned everything I know from cricket players. What have Potty Dotty and the Clash got in common?
I don't know, Dr. Tom. What has Potty Dotty and the Clash got in common?
They both live by the river. They both live by the river.
It's not funny.
Okay. Oh, well. Never mind.
Are you a big Clash fan?
Well, it's the only song I know by The Clash, so no.
Really? You must. Should I stay or should I go?
Oh, yeah, another one,
London
yeah.
Calling.
Oh, yeah, another one too.
Rock
yeah.
the Casbah.
Oh, is that The Clash?
Okay. We've done What a Waster, didn't we? Kings against King Deuce. We were trying to work out prior to what is the biggest difference pre-flop percentage-wise of two hands. One's got the other one dominated. We thought it was aces against ace deuce. Actually, it's kings against king deuce. It's 95.5%. So someone's got kings, you got king deuce. I'd fold the king deuce.
Did you see how many times I folded King Deuce in that sit and go for fear of kings?
Unbelievable amount of
Paranoid
rocky
hand.
play. Oh, but you only did it because it was Nick's money.
That's right. My money would be straight in there.
Pushing big time. Okay, an email from Declan. Now, this is an enormous email, and I'll try and get through it before we go to break. So, from Declan, hello Barry the Bully and Dr. Tom, great show and two brilliant presenters. In brackets, does this mean my email will get read quicker now? Yes, it does.
Actually, he calls you Barry the Bullet. Is that your new nickname?
No, he's obviously, seen me me in bed.
He's seen you in bed?
Seen me in bed.
What circumstances?
No, I used to do...
Are you a swinger?
I used to do Slumberland
Do you have a webcam?
adverts. Did you not see me?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Silent Night beds.
Really?
Yeah, I was one of the... used to lay down.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't been playing that long, 4 months in total. I only play low stakes. I started playing poker very loose because I didn't have a clue. I was playing any ace, king, queen or jack very strongly and of course getting hammered. Does that mean you... Oh, you're obviously getting hammered with the cards. I thought you meant you was having a couple of... No, whatever, okay. I've been watching Poker Night Live. I've read Slansky's Theory of Poker. I've read Doyle Brunson's Super System and taken a lot of notice to Phil Hellmuth's advice to novice players. Basically, this is how I play. I play on 10-person tables and have loads of patience. I raise or re-raise with aces, kings, queens, and then I'll wait for the flop to decide what to do next. I'll raise or call with jacks and tens and then wait for the flop to decide what to do next. I limp or call a small raise with any pair hoping to hit trips or better. Sometimes I play with suited connectors depending on the previous betting. The result of this play. I play on the very low limits, but on average I can win about $10 per night for about 4 or 5 days in a row. But then everything goes wrong. All in the same night, such as people calling on a flush draw or straight draw, this kind of beat seems to cost me more money than when I win a big hand. I'm playing tight, really tight. I'm winning for 4 or 5 days in a row, but when I lose with a big hand, I lose big. And for some reason, I'll have 3 to 4 bad beats in one night, which cleans out my previous winnings and more. What can I do to minimise my losses and possibly win some more? Thank you, and please help me. This is from a very desperate Declan.
Desperate
Wow.
Declan to
Desperate
Barry
Deck
the Bullet.
to Barry the Bullet.
You come to the right place. But I will just put in my own 2 penneth worth. I think you should play tournaments. Is you playing cash games?
Sounds like cash games.
Yeah, I think you should be playing tournaments. I think the sort of strategy you're dealing with there means that in the first 2 or 3 or 4 levels maybe, then basically it's going to be difficult to beat that strategy. It's basically pretty sound. And by the time you get to the 4th and 5th level and so on, then you're going to have such a short stack that you just got to learn with a bit of experience what your minimum standard is for shoving it all in. But there's no particular finesse at that point in the tournament. If you've got 3 or 4 times a big blind, you shove it in with a decent court card if no one's raised. So basically your strategy is fine for tournaments. Trouble is in cash games where you're deep, if you're playing a relatively predictable strategy, people will start to exploit it. And I think that's probably what's happening to you. And I mean, you say you're getting bad beats, but bad beats aren't always bad beats. It's simply the case that someone's seen where they are with respect to you, and they reckon they can work out whether they're going to hit the hand and they're going to take you for all their money, or they'll be able to get away from it cheaply, and they only need to put themselves in that situation 5 or 6 times for them to get away from it cheaply 5 times and then take you for a huge bad beat on an outdraw on the 6th. So my recommendation would be definitely to play sit and goes, Declan.
Deck, we're going to come back very shortly. Take a quick break. See you in a couple of secs. Good morning, welcome back to Poker Night Live. Barry the Bully Martin alongside Dr. Tom for the last hour of the show. I was just thinking actually during the break, we're the 2 longest serving commentators now on Poker Night Live.
I guess we are,
A
Barry.
couple of old, well not old pros, or maybe.
Young and fresh pros?
Young and fresh, possibly.
Young and fresh amateurs?
Something like that.
Completely clueless people who've just walked in?
Probably more to the point. Yeah, I would say after the Ace-9 coup, especially. But anyway, look, we've had an email from Dead Spiders in regards to your Ace-9 play.
Okay.
Should we look at it a little bit more in depth?
Okay.
Okay. He says, good evening, guys. Dr. Tom's Ace-9 reminded me of something I've been thinking about recently. When you find yourself in a situation with a marginal hand, when you really don't think you can bet to find out where you are, how valid is it to seek to check and call to the river? Alternatively, should you generally just seek to avoid these situations, even it may jeopardise your expectation? While for Dr. Tom, this issue came up where he didn't really have the chips to fold, I find similar situations can happen quite often in the cheap cash games, where you don't think you can get a player off top pair, weak kicker. Recently, I've lost a lot with King Jack versus Ace King and won a lot with King Jack versus King 8. Moving the question onwards, to take advantage of a player's looser starting requirements, surely you have to relax your own starting requirements a little bit too, since it's much easier to get him kicked out, or out-kicked, sorry. Same thing, I suppose. Kicked out, out-kicked, out-drawn.
Kind of.
Similar. Anyway, however, this requires you to play top pair with moderate kicker well. In this case, would you revert to check and call in the face of action or keep betting with a long-run positive expectation? Thank you very much from Was it Dead Spiders? Yeah, Dead Spiders. Thank you very much, Dead Spiders.
Thanks, Hugh. Yeah, a few points there. You're right, you can make that move of checking and calling against a player who's a bit iffy. It doesn't look good, it looks like you're just a passive player, but in fact it can be sound because you give them an opportunity to bluff against you, for example. But I do think also you allude to this about whether you should sort of look to make that play from the start. I don't think you should ever enter a pot on that basis. You may find yourself in a situation on the flop, or certainly on the turn, where there's only one more card that he can outdraw you with, where you feel like checking and calling, but don't ever go into a situation. Don't pick up a couple of cards and think to yourself, hey, I'm going to check, call these to the river. Do it as a kind of last resort where you're not quite sure where you are against an unpredictable player once the flop has come down. And I think that's perfectly acceptable. And don't worry what it looks like to other people, because as long as you're not a passive player always, you can afford to play like that every now and then. The other thing you said about these loose players, should you loosen up against them a bit? The answer is you should, but only a little bit, and only to the extent that they are a major force at the table. If it's a 10-handed table, of course, it's fine to loosen up against a guy with poor starting requirements, but you're also loosening up against players with good starting requirements. So bear that in mind. It's much more effective to do that at a short-handed table. Ideally, you want to isolate that loose player if possible. So you want to put in a bet that says to all the good players, sound players, I have a hand, so then you know where you are with respect to them if they come into the pot. And it's only the loose player who decides to come in anyway, and then you can just play the strength of your hand, but you do want to isolate him.
Indeed, and that all goes down to, you know, the general dynamics of the table. And if you have earmarked a particular player playing a particular style, then, you know, you're definitely on the roads to, you know, understanding the overall dynamics of the table. And, you know, and as Tom says, by playing passively in particular pots, you're mixing your game up, which is great. You know, people find it very difficult. Like the previous email before the break, Declan sent us a very lengthy email about how he'd read some books and now he plays a little bit more ABC than he used to. Well, that's all very well and good, but because he's playing such a, you know, pretty much a straightforward game, it makes it very easy for, you know, the more intelligent player. I'm not saying, Declan, you're not playing intelligently, you're obviously just on the road to playing poker, but the more intelligent player to actually say, okay, this is what this guy is playing in these positions, makes it very easy to pigeonhole these kind of players and pick them off, especially in the cash games.
Yeah, especially in the cash games where you've got plenty of chips, your opponent's got plenty of chips, and he can find out where he is and still have a big bet left on the river to put in and then get you to pay him off big time, and that's where you're getting stung, I think.
Yep. So, Dead Spiders, thank you very much from that. Now, we have an email from Brannon. Now, Brannon, this is all about, I believe this is all about bankroll, which is going to be interesting. Right. Hi guys, great show as usual. I've just started playing real money games online after playing for a while in the free games.
I only work weekends and I'm still at college, so I have a very small bankroll, $50. I've been playing at 5-cent, 10-cent games and $1 single table sit and goes. Is that about the right level for my bankroll, or should I be playing in smaller games as I've heard you're supposed to and have a certain bankroll for the size of game that you play in? This is from Brannon. Now, $50 for a 5-cent, 10-cent game. You know what? I think $50 is about the right level for that kind of game. A $1 single table sit and goes gives you, you know, a fair amount of play for $50. About the right level,
I think
Tom?
the cash games are right. I think you could probably afford to push the boat out and go up to a $2 sit
Careful.
and go.
Careful.
You know, bearing in mind that you can always get another student loan if you blow it all. I mean, you've got 25.
Please,
Well, you've got about 20 sit and go sit downs there, and if you can't turn a profit with 20 sit and go margin,
Forget sit and goes.
it's not looking too good. So I would move up to the $2 sit and goes if I were you, and give it a go. I mean, to be honest, you could. I mean, the thing is about bankroll questions is that really, people I worry about people caring more about bankroll calculations than actually playing decent poker, because if you lose $50, what's his name? Brannon.
Brannon, yeah.
Of course, that's your bankroll gone, but it will come back quite quickly next time you get your gyro through, or it's Christmas. But if your bankroll is 50,000 and you lose that playing $1,000 sit and goes, then it's not coming back from anywhere unless you rob a bank, which of course we don't recommend you do on Poker Night Live because we're a family show.
Just quickly, sorry, I must interject here. Poker Night Live does not endorse gambling in any way, shape or form. Poker is a game of skill, purely and simply, and just that's, you know, I just want to clear that up before Tom goes and digs himself a bigger hole.
So gamble it away, Brannon, and never heed the consequences because anything could happen.
Marvellous. See, you've been away for a month and it's all gone to pot. You was the stalwart, you was the safe pair of hands for Poker Night Live.
I'm fed up with being the boring one. I'm going to be the exciting one from now on.
The Koos Lannon.
The Koos Lannon.
This is Scottish.
I thought that was a Norwegian poker player.
No, the Koos Lannon. Anyway.
No comprendi. I'm sorry, Barry, if I'm the only one missing the joke, but got any more emails?
No, we have got emails. We have, but we've got 2 multi-table tournaments we have to tidy up, and we have to go through. We've got all these pro plays that we've, you know, very carefully earmarked to go through, which you're going to take us through being the expert share this evening in absolute detail. Which let me just to make sure you're taking notes on this: the stop and go play, the check raise, the tomato sauce, the limper, the fly trap, which is your very own, and the continuation play.
Okay. Well, yeah, we could check out the MTTs.
Okay, what we're going to go to first, Maestro? We're going to go to the free roll. So I'm hearing in my earpiece the last 15 minutes of the free roll.
So down to 3. What's the prize money all about then? How much is it? You know, stuff like that.
$1,000 for first prize. So we're playing for. Oh, isn't that a lovely position? Sitting there, you've got over $500,000 in chips. It's lovely, isn't it? I love playing these big tournaments, and you've got like an absolute mountain of chips in front of you. Loads of small chips and big chips. It just looks great. You feel very kind of World Series-y when that happens. It doesn't really have the effect online, but it's nice. You're sitting there with $500,000 chips, chip leader. Poor old Rackman got, you know, 135,000 chips. Blinds at 4-8, and not feeling that comfortable.
On the other hand, the chips stack is bigger online because you've got the decimal points as well.
This site particularly, some don't have these.
They're not quite so scrupulous about the rounding errors.
No, indeed. But we just we found out. So I didn't know it was gone out in 4th, but we had Mona finished in 5th position for $58. So we've got, as we said, we've got 3 left here.
I'll tell you what, it's a pretty steep price structure, this, isn't it? You've got 5th to 18th with $50, then it doubles to 4th for 100, and then it doubles to 200 for 3rd, and then for no apparent reason, from 3rd to 2nd is the biggest jump of all because it goes up by 150%, $200 to $500. So a rather eccentric price structure here. Never mind, they've all made third, but they do now have actually the biggest leap.
So I'll just give out a little bit of false information. I said Mona finished in fifth. That's not actually true.
Oh, is it not?
No. That was in the. I've just given a little bit of away in the bounty. Mona went out in fifth.
What are you doing in the anchor chair? You should be the expert chair.
Look, we don't label our emails correctly. It just said information on MTT.
Well, don't expect too much from me when I'm discussing pro plays.
One of your favourites. We got Unibummer, finished eighth, $50.
Why is he my favourite?
And in seventh, Greggy71 for another $50. Swede King 76 for $50. Tie Man in fifth for $50, and then in fourth, Poker Epic for $100.
Well done, boys.
Yep, well done. You've battled through 700 odd players to get in the cash, so hats off to you.
And risked how much to enter?
Absolutely nothing.
What a bunch of cheapskates. I mean, we put the free rolls on, but we don't expect anyone to have to nerve and actually sit down in them, playing for free on the software. I mean, that's just
You've turned
cheap,
into
isn't it?
Poker Night Live's bad boy. You're like the Phil Hellmuth of the Poker Night Live crew now.
I'm going to get a T-shirt made up. Poker Night Live's bad boy.
Bad boy. Yes.
So who's your money on then?
I'll go for Blowfish.
You're a numbers man.
Well, after us watching this, he's done nothing wrong so far.
Okay.
So we've got just going back to the payout structure here for this particular free roll. It's a pretty big jump, isn't it? From second to first. It's going to be playing heads up for $500.
But the funny thing is, the jump from third to second is bigger. It goes $200, $500, $1,000. So you've got a bizarre.
Well, no, 300 and 500.
Yeah, in absolute terms, but I've never seen a situation where you get more than twice as much.
Well, let's put it this way. The person that worked out the prize pool has not been the most creative in the world. They've gone for a pretty flat structure. $50 all the way, 100, 200, 500, 1,000.
So you're saying that because it's a free roll, they also can't be bothered to work out a sensible structure?
I didn't say that. I said they've not been the most creative.
No. But it's nice round figures.
Nice round figures.
Yeah.
Easy for us commentators.
Yeah, perhaps that's what they had in mind.
I hope so.
They've probably seen previous shows.
It worked well.
Yeah. Look, your man Blowfish has taken a tumble, Barry.
Yes, while we was certainly looking away towards the payout, made a bit of a boo-boo and blown a little bit of his stack to, is that Toby over there? Yeah, Toby 1977. 1977, that's a good year.
You might get some of it back now, though.
Oh, well, yeah, he needs a 7 to appear, probably. Come on, Blackfish, make it better, Dick.
8,000? Oh, too big.
Oh, he got paid as well. Excellent work.
What a player.
Yes.
Well, that was amazing. How did he manage that?
He obviously didn't believe it. Maybe Blowfish has been playing extremely loosey-goosey. Is that pocket nines up there against 2 aces? Wow.
2 aces?
Well, ace and ace. Ace 4, ace 7 out there.
Oh, I see, right. I
Yeah.
thought you made the old ace 4.
No.
Gaff.
I'm just looking at the, well, yeah, 2 aces, both diamonds. I'm not going to make that much of a gaff.
You're a better man than me.
That's a rather large raise with pocket nines, isn't it? It's only, what's that, 90 times the big blind?
He's got paid.
He's got paid. Blowfish, in fact, I think Blow could actually get out of this one.
He's got to get out of it. Look at the jump from third to second.
I know, it's enormous.
He's more than doubling his money.
There we go. I thank you very much. Rack hits the rack, finishing in third position for $200 into his account. Now heads up. And no place to hide. Although 4,000, 8,000, it's not exactly, you know, with 50 big blinds for Blowfish, you don't expect him to be getting too busy.
No, they've got plenty of play here.
They have, it's enormous play.
But they haven't shown any desire to, to use
Well,
it.
the pocket nines raised 90 times the big blind was a slight overbet, which What worked?
He got called by a 1 overcard.
Yeah, he did. In fact, looking at his chips, it was actually just it was an undercall, wasn't it, to the raise?
Yeah, he couldn't even make the call.
No. Now Toby in a nice position, got double the chips of Blowfish, so can afford to be a little bit more in the comfort zone.
Massive raise. Don't fancy it myself, but yeah, I could feel it coming.
72. Understand that level of raise, Tom?
No, he's just trying to avoid decisions
What's
later
the three?
on.
What 24 grand is a standard 3 times raise. So that's what you'd probably expect.
Yeah, in fact, it heads up. I'm happy to put in smaller raises, to be honest.
Wow.
These
Look
boys
at this! Oh, he luckily got a chop out of it as well. Poor old Blowfish must be gutted.
It looks like
They're not mucking around, are they? Have they got like a train to catch or something? These two.
I think they've been on the phone and said, "Look, let's chop it, whatever happens, and we just got to finish it off, and for the sake of the payout,
Yeah.
chopping it up between them." That's what it looks like.
In the text box, look, they can't read the text, but we're on TV, so let's go mad. Wowee.
Yep, there it is. The classic.
How many big blinds is that? That's quite a lot. 6, 1, 2, 3, 8, 6. No more than that. 8,
9 big
7,
blinds.
8, 9 big blinds. I can't remember what book I read 9 big blind bet in a heads-up play.
I mean, if you've only got 9 big blinds, maybe
Well, that's different.
that's different.
That's not 9 big blinds. That's all in, then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tappy.
Do you know what tapping means in French?
Felt.
On the carpet, actually.
Well, same thing, isn't it?
Well, no, because I went to, actually when I was in La Rochelle
Oh, yeah.
a couple of summers ago. There was I went past and I remember hearing it first on Late Night Poker when Robert Cohen was going tapis tapis. There was it said le tapis something or other means carpet shop. So tapis means on the carpet.
But it's the same. It's felt carpet, on the surface, down to the surface, down to the rug.
Oh, it's French.
Yeah, I know. They're crazy, aren't they, the French?
Yeah.
Do we go out in France?
Did I go out in France?
No, do we go out?
No.
No?
No. Sacre bleu.
What a shame when you speak French
Well,
so well.
So there's more of a standard race. 44,000.
With a worse hand.
With the worst hand, yeah. Maybe that's the, that's the indication. The lower the raise, the lesser hand that Blow's got.
So he puts in 3.5 times the big blind with deuce 3.
4, 6, oh.
Oh.
Wow, we got away from that one very, very cheaply.
Mm-hmm.
As in nothing.
Bit like the free roll.
Yeah. When you was, I thought I'd just get this in for you. When you was playing the, your biggest ever moment in Hold'em, which was the event at the Vic, which you won, the 5,000, was it 5,000 buy-in? No.
No.
What was it?
No,
3,000?
close.
2,000?
No, 2.5.
2,500 buy-in.
No, it was 2002 when buy-ins were normal.
Okay. Was it a long heads-up battle that you had with Peter Costa?
It was reasonably lengthy. It wasn't a mammoth one, but I think it must have been 45, 50 minutes.
Okay. So it was long enough.
Yeah, it was long enough.
Okay. And I was always interested in the story about you'd never want to do, you didn't want to do a deal, and there was quite a lot of money at stake during the heads-up battle.
Yeah, no, he offered me a very good deal. That I mean, even if we'd been players of of equal standard, it would have been wise to take it because it was certainly I was getting above the equity for the chips on the table, and Peter Costa's a top player.
Very good player. Well, he's considered to be the best limit poker player on the planet, and a good no-limit player.
But I didn't fancy it, Barry.
No?
Nah.
It was a big, 60 grand between first and second prize.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, didn't fancy it.
Fine.
Yeah, I know, funny looking back on it, but...
And quite rightly so, because you end up winning it
that's right. Yeah.
outright. Very nice.
Of course, these days, what with all this sponsorship and stuff going on, then there's a lot of money to be had in winning the thing anyway.
Yeah, if you're marketable as a bit of a face, then, you know, to be associated with any particular brand is can be long-term, a decent
Yeah.
long-term proposition.
Look at this, Tobb's gone all in.
Well,
King Jack off.
he's set a blow all in, isn't he?
Yeah,
the-
but
with the
it's
old King
still a
Jack.
colossal raise. I mean, it just takes two of these players to get two remotely good hands,
Unlike 2-8 and 6-3.
and they'll be all in.
Well, they're basically playing for $500. They both won $500, and they're playing for the extra $500. So it doesn't look like, it looks like they're playing for $10 more than 500.
It does a bit, yeah.
But no, I can confirm, viewers, that they are playing for $500. That's the first prize. Is oh dear.
Great bet.
It's the
Pushes
first
Tobby
prize.
off a better hand. I don't know about you, Barry. I don't want to diss our our players, but it looks to me like these players haven't played much heads-up poker before, and they don't quite know what to do with it. Oh my God.
Nice double up for Blowfish. This is great stuff. You see how many chips were on the screen? It was going across enormously. It was great stuff.
What's the opposite of ketchup? Because that is what he had there. He was all in before the flop, then he made the house.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure we can come up, or our viewers can come up with a situation whereby, I don't know actually how you could...
Yeah, what is the opposite of ketchup? Because I've often wondered.
Well, if you're in front, then with so far in front, then it's a catch-up play. But if you're behind, well, it's a bad beat, isn't it?
No, but that wasn't. It's where you're so far... Oh, I don't know. But I just wondered what the opposite was of ketchup.
I don't know.
Anti-ketchup.
Pickle? In a bit of a pickle?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it's some kind of condiment, isn't it?
Yes. But that's not what... Well, okay, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Basically, I'm trying to get some kind of connotation,
Yeah.
a correlation between the two.
These boys are nutters.
They are nutters. It's the dry roasted play.
Do you think blowfish is the dry roasted? What do you mean?
It's the dry roasted nuts. It's
Oh,
a bit of a
okay.
nuts play.
Yeah.
Not nuts as in I've got the nuts, but it's a bit silly.
Do you think blowfish is the more nutty?
It's difficult to say because they're both playing rather erratically, I must say.
So you're saying they're just as bad as each other, and they
Well,
set each other off.
When you're moving in with the Queen 8, or whatever it was for Toby, and he sucked out with the King on the river.
Yeah.
Look at this raise, 92,000 to go. See, look. So we're not trying to berate these. Let's get this one thing straight. We're not trying to berate these players. But you know, the blinds are 4-8, and you're making it 90,000 to go. What are you trying to do?
They're nutters.
But what are you trying to do, making it 90,000 to go?
Avoid decisions, I think, later down the line.
But with hands that, you know, you should... All right, if you're going to make a play, make a 3 times a big blind play. But if you... It's difficult to work out. Maybe they feel they're making raises relevant to their stack size, not relevant to the blinds.
Okay, well that is new and untrue poker theory.
Untrue poker theory?
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Why is it nonsense?
Because poker theory begins and starts with what's in the pot, and it should be modified by what can possibly be in the pot when all the money goes in. We're talking about implied odds here.
Yes.
But your basic decision calculation is how much am I risking compared to what I can win, and that's so your bets are geared to what's in the pot.
But say that you're maybe an inexperienced player. Let's just hold that for a second where we've got... Look at this. Wow, that was 40, 80, then 160, both with no pair. I was about to say a couple of novice heads-up players, but
Maybe they're geniuses.
Blowfish, that was different class, wasn't it?
The blinds have gone up, but not nearly as much as we need them to.
No, for their raises to work out, the blind should be 15,000, 30,000 to have any real, you know, validity at this particular juncture of the game.
So Toby's still here with, what is it, 40 big blinds there?
Yeah.
Hello. And now if it's the other way around, and Blowfish was in the small blind,
He's played his trappy. It's like having a monster for him.
oh my God.
Oh dear, this could prove. If a king comes, look at this, and he's called. He's just flat called it. Excellent work.
Let's get these boys on the show.
100 grand. And he flat called it again. Is he flat calling to bluff? Toby can only move in here. He's got most of his chips in the middle.
No, don't say he's going to check fold. I've got a nasty feeling.
Come on, Blow.
Oh
You got
my
a
God.
Good bet, Blow.
Different class.
He is different grade with this boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's got a fold. What a
Wow,
player.
he was all right. He thought he was on the draw. Then he got to the end thinking, "Oops, what am I doing here? I'm going to have to bet out." I think it's all over now. Well, I think all the chips are going to go in. Put it this way. A6. Come on, Toby. You've been folding lot worse. You've been pushing all in with the lot worse. Ah, double up. Thank you very much. Unless a jack comes, that is. Nope. it's great, isn't it? Blinds 510. He makes it 180 to go. It's great stuff. But no, we were talking about the. We were talking about, these massive over bets on pre-flop. Just playing devil's advocate, maybe they think that they have to make that level of raise with the comparison of the comparative level of the stacks to make any impact to the opposition.
You mean psychological impact?
No, a numerical impact of your chips.
Hello.
Oh, up and down against the third pair. Oh! Can he get away from it? Does Toby feel like he's in a corner? Just check, Toby. Come on. Some danger. Oh, dear. All over.
Oh, now he's slow rolling on the end.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there we have it. Wowee.
Well,
That was exciting, wasn't it?
You picked a winner.
Yeah, I don't...
You're going to be backing him?
No. But you know what, Blow? I like your style, my friend. It was exciting poker. And Toby, hats off to you. You got through 700 and odd players. And, wow, it was exciting heads up, wasn't it?
Do you know what it is, Barry? It's because the show's going to end fairly soon. We don't have that much time. And they realised, God bless them, that with so many chips relative to the blinds, we weren't going to get a finale unless they played like nutters. So thanks, guys. And we've got another MTT to do.
We have. We have to go there right now. So, Blowfish, well done to you. Great down to the $5 bounty. As I said a little bit earlier, we've already had our fifth place finisher in Mona for $58. And just to give you some breakdown of the prizes for this event, just recap, it was a $5 bounty. The bounty was on 3 of these Stan James players that are all out now. Surprise, surprise. And everyone who knocked them out got $50 each. 47 runners, 217,500 chips in play. 5 places paid. First prize gets 290, 174 for second, 116 for third, and 87 for fourth. So, are we going to see something a little bit more relaxed in comparison, do you reckon, Tom, to this?
Well, these boys have got many fewer chips, so they're going to be superficially doing the same thing. But because they're short.
Well, no, look at that. You got a minimum raise from the small blind.
Mm-hmm.
With King Queen against A6 and King Queen.
Well, he's now free rolling.
Yep.
Unless he's pushed off it, which he can't be, so now he's in great shape.
Yeah. Well, it would take some kahunas to call there for not 6 or 11. He didn't. And Prince Sheba is now the chip leader on 84,000 in chips.
Oh, more minimum raises. I'm surprised about that. 6,000 in the middle, I've got 48. I wonder if he was trying to induce a Sort of
I
bluff
think so.
raise, sort of fly trap kind
I
of
think
play.
so. The fly trap.
Ace 9.
You know, we're going to struggle to get all this in tonight, considering we've got this MTT to go through. We've also got quite a few emails also.
Well, we can cover them while we're looking at the MTT, Barry.
We
can
could do, couldn't we?
multitask. Who says men can't multitask?
Me. Hold on, can you hold on a second? I'm just reading.
You're talking and clicking.
I can't, no, but I can't do that.
I can't see what the other hand's doing.
Okay. Do you want? Should we do that while we're
Well,
talking?
I mean, I don't want.
Okay. An email from Salmon here. He says, "Hello, Bazza and Dr. Tom. I'm folding Ace Queen and Ace Jack nowadays. Bit early to say whether it's a good strategy or not, but I've lost so much money with these two hands and been knocked out of so many multi-table tournaments early doors. I thought I'd give this strategy a go. I'd much rather play a nice 10-9 suited, to be honest. What do you think of this?" TJ said, Cloutier I'm sure he means, said that he's lost more money with Ace Queen than any other hand, and I tend to agree. Your thoughts would be welcome. Now, you know what? As a blanket decision to fold Ace Queen and Ace Jack, I'm not so sure, I must say. Look, Salmon, if you're losing with it on a regular basis, then analyse where you're raising with it and you know how strong or weak you're playing the hand, both pre-flop and post-flop. I don't like blanket decisions in poker. It's like someone saying, I'm going to flat call every time with aces and see how it goes. Or I'm always going to raise with ace king on the button. You know, things like this. I don't like it. You have to take the overall table dynamics as, you know, as they come to you. And the information is changing on an ongoing basis. So, yes, all right, you might be running a bit bad and you know, not so clever with Ace Queen and Ace Jack, but, you know, a blanket decision to keep folding them, not my idea of a winning strategy. Tom?
No, you've got to play Ace Queen. I mean, you go into battle with it with some trepidation, but you've got to play it. I mean, I can turn it into a winner. And furthermore, even if Ace Queen only broke even for you in the long run, you would still be absolutely correct to play it, because otherwise your opponents work out that the only ace you play is Ace King, and then you can't make any money on that. So you've got to play slightly worse aces. But yeah, just don't make blankets. Ace Jack in particular is a highly situational hand, and I can easily let it go, but sometimes I'll play it. Ace Queen, to be honest, is just about good enough to play for broad value. Again, provided you play it with a bit of nonce and you've got your antennae up to see if someone else has got Ace King out there. But I don't think you can let Ace Queen go, really. I mean, what are you playing if you're not playing Ace Queen? Well, you said 10-9 suited, but, you know, that's a long draw.
Well, it's all very well saying you want to play 10-9 suited, but, you know, yes, I can understand why you're saying that in comparison to Ace Queen, because it's a lot easier to let go when you've completely missed. Or, you know, it comes, you know...
Well, yeah, but what if you catch a 10? I mean, have you missed or have you hit?
Well, maybe he finds it a lot easier to let go when you've hit top pair with a 10, and you have to let it go when, you know...
So then he's looking to make a straight or a flush, or two pair, I mean...
So you're throwing it away long-term a lot more often than you would be... Yeah.
And sometimes he gets beat anyway when you make your hand.
You see, TJ may say he's lost more money than Ace Queen, but, you know, maybe it's a bogey hand for him, you know, maybe he overplayed it. TJ, whatever you want to read in his book, is a very aggressive and also usually a very loose player, especially in the tournaments that, you know, I played with TJ, you know, just name dropping. I played a couple of tournaments with TJ, and it's, you know, as I said, I don't like blanket decisions. I really don't. Okay, so Salmon, sorry we couldn't agree with you there, but hopefully it gives you a little bit of understanding and knowledge about Ace Queen and Ace Jack.
We've had a casualty here, Bazza.
Yes, we have indeed. It looks like... who went?
Fockyzel.
Okay, well, can you just tell me who went, though?
Player in seat 3.
Ah, okay. Seat 3, let's have a little look. I've got the... Okay, there we go. So, he ends up winning a tidy sum. A tidy sum, which you're now going to ask me how much that sum is. I know you are, Tom. So look, before you even do, I'm going to tell you that he actually won $87 for fourth place.
Well done, Focky. There you go, Ace Jack taking down a pot.
See that? So salmon, Ace Jack. It's a winner.
It's huge.
There we go.
Enjoy
Ace Jack
play.
again. Monster, monster. Pocket threes against it. Don't think the Ace Jack is going to pass. See, that's situational. You gonna tell me you're going to pass Ace Jack in this coup? I don't think so. Oh dear. Big hand for both though. Look at that. Nut flush draw against set threes and Ace. Look, if I was you, I'd throw Ace Jack away every time. Actually.
Yeah. And we're
It's
just
a loser. Ace Jack's a loser.
So down to 2.
We are. Ah, the King Deuce has popped up quite a lot tonight, hasn't it?
Yeah. And curious here, because they've got the opposite hand here. Tweedledum and Tweedledee, both terrified the other player's got kings for the worst possible matchup in Texas Hold'em.
It is indeed.
And in fact, they're going to split it unless someone bluffs, which is a bit inappropriate, because with king high, they might well have a winner and don't need to bluff, so it should go check, check. I put in a call, I was saying the story to you, Barry, but I'll just remind you of it. Put in a call today, I was playing a heads-up sit and go,
Uh-huh.
and I called on the river with jack high for quite a large bet.
Two a bet, or was it a big
The guy
bet
bet
into
at
you?
me. Yeah, it was a sort of slightly less than the pot size.
Why did you call with Jack high?
Because I thought I was winning.
But what made you thought you was winning with the Jack?
Because I thought my opponent was good enough to realise that with an ace or a king in a heads-up match, he might well be winning and not have to bluff. So he was basically betting with a decent hand or a real big bluff.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out I was winning. He called me an asterisk-ing moron. I thought I played very well.
Okay. Did you come back at him with a suitably contrite response?
Well, not by no means contrite. I typed in why, and he asterisked me a bit more, and then he invited me to the $200 sit and go to settle it. So I went off and waited on one of those, and he didn't show up.
Now there's a surprise. Did you win that particular sit and go?
I won that one, yeah.
Excellent. Well, yeah, I'll take my hat off to you to going and sit down the 200.
Yeah.
Showed him. Sometimes Jack Eye's good enough.
I was quite pleased with that one, though.
I bet you was. It's a pretty big call with the Jack Eye.
He had 10 high.
King Deuce again. Look at this.
It's amazing. It must be fixed. And look, there's going to be an outdraw here.
Come on, ace on the river. No.
There's no outdraw. It must be fixed.
Very nip and tuck this one. Prince Sheba 110. Roses 107. They grow on you, you know.
Roses?
Yeah.
Ah.
I like the see-through one with the nuts in, you know, the little swirly one.
The noisette.
What?
The noisette.
Is that what it's called?
I think so, yeah.
Is it? I'm not much of a...
I thought you spoke French.
Only, yeah, occasionally.
I think it's called noisette.
Is that the one with the one hazelnut in? And
I'd
the
quite like to
swirly?
meet a girl called Noisette.
Really?
Well, yeah, I think so. It's quite a nice
Well, it should be a
word.
bit nutty.
Yeah, it could be, but, you know, that can be good.
Okay. It's good to have you back, Tom, I must say.
Thanks, Barry.
See, on the rota this evening, I had James Browning down.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
He's in Slovenia.
Indeed. And you told me what he was doing over there. Do you want to repeat that?
Yeah, he's playing poker.
That's not what you said 10 minutes before coming on air.
He's playing poker well.
Okay. I shan't repeat it. It's a family show.
Well, if you've ever been to Slovenia, Barry,
I have been to Slovenia.
you'll know that the folk dancing exhibitions are cracker, and you must go along to them. I'm
Cracking
sure that's what
indeed.
he's doing.
It's like Morris dancing on acid.
Yeah. Yes, it is like that, actually. You're right.
Yeah. Instead of the poles, they've got Kalashnikovs. No, I've never seen. In fact, I've been to Slovenia. I played a festival over there. Quite a nice card room, actually.
This is the Nova Gorizia Hits.
Nova
Casino
Gorizia
Bar,
hits. Yep, you got it.
where all the Italians used to go to get their fix.
Well, that's right. I remember old Robert.
Benelli?
Yeah, used to be there all the time. I remember one particular night playing him in because he was always excellent value in the cash games, Robert.
He's an aggressive tournament player.
Absolutely, a very good tournament player. And one night we got involved in a very large Omaha game. with a few Italians and a couple of English lads, and we got heads up in a pot, and he'd done his complete stack to me. Trying to bluff me when I've got the nut full house, which was always handy.
Not scared of quads?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't scared of quads.
Just write that down. Not scared of quads.
No.
When has...
I will go broke when someone else has got quads.
You're
Afraid
prepared
to say.
do it.
I am.
Well, they've been barging each other around, but
They have.
Rosie's is getting a bit of a lead here. Let's
Yep.
see some diamonds. And there's not a huge amount of play here, with Sheba sitting there with 12 big blinds. It can easily all go off. Just needs Rosie's to have a big hand, really, and Prince Sheba prepared to make a move. That's good enough for a raise, and 3-5 is good enough for a fold.
So I'm just tittering to myself. I've had a wonderful email from Dickinson Bainbridge.
Oh yeah, good name.
It's a cracking name, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Proper English name. Mr. Bainbridge, I'll be reading your email out pretty shortly. In fact, we've got 5 or 6 emails to do. Plus, look, should we go through quickly these pro plays?
No, I think we should do the emails.
You reckon?
Yeah.
You don't want to do the pro plays?
Well, I don't think we've got time to do them justice, Barry, you know? I mean, it took ages to talk about the fly trap.
Yeah, only because you spoke at length about something that's, pretty standard play for a...
You dissing the pro play, man?
Yeah, I am.
Well,
I much prefer the catch-up.
well, yeah,
And he didn't
catch-up play
even...
is not
Look,
exactly
you turned
rocket
up...
science,
You
is it?
turned up...
Jeez, I've only been back about 4 hours.
But at least I had a name for it. We had to get one of the viewers to come up with the fly trap. A name I like, I agree, I like the name, but I tried to... I give you enough opportunity to think about a name for it, and you couldn't. It was the ace-jack in early position, limp, and then make it... it just doesn't work. The fly trap I like.
Well, I'm sorry, Barry, but I don't...
The old FT. No FT, no comment. Go on, you're about to say something derogatory, I can smell it.
No, not really. I'm just saying that I hate you, man.
That's fair. Oh, look at this. The ace-king's been outdrawn. It's all coming up... Yeah, I know. I couldn't help it, really. This pot will definitely put Roses in a very commanding position. Near enough a 2-1 chip lead now. Close on. The king deuce again, look at this.
Amazing.
Like London buses. You don't see king deuce for ages. And then the blinds have gone up. I'm joking. You see him quite a lot.
He's got ace king again. I think this is a very fishy business going in here.
Why's that?
I don't know, I just didn't have anything to say about the ace king, so I thought I'd fill it with a random conspiratorial claim.
But you can't say that about, 2 fine players that have got through a number of other decent players to make this
Here we go.
down to the money.
Here we go, Barry.
You think so?
We've got some action here.
Well, he's flat called.
Oh, maybe he gets away from it. Yeah, mate, he's got to make a decision.
No.
Oh,
Oh, hello. Oh, that's nasty. Prince Sheba, thank you very much. The 3 outer.
yeah, now it goes
This should goal in as well now.
Oh, flat calls.
Dear me. Why bet 42 and leave yourself 3? What's that, for the bus fare or something I'm not aware of?
Rosie's back in it. And should be some sort of action from Sheba. No, he's a flat caller again. He keeps it cautious before the flop. Generally a sign that a player feels that they're in good shape against their opponent if they're happy to let them take a flop.
Look, Tom, we've got a couple of emails we're going to have to get through, so we'll do them while we're watching the last embers of this $5 bounty tournament. This is from Dixon Bainbridge here. He says, Good evening, chaps. Dixon Bainbridge here. I heard you gents talking about vasectomies. Can't believe a good Englishman with a proper name like the Bully would take such a pathetic option. It's an old-fashioned home-done castration of a bottle of whiskey, or you just don't bother. Good day, sir.
Okay, well, Dixon, sorry we've disappointed you.
Okay.
Did you consider going down the whiskey route?
I'm not much of a whiskey man, actually.
You can. I think Dixon will let
Did
you
you
do
mean
it.
drink the whiskey or pour it over?
I think it's 2 bottles of whiskey and a clap
So
together.
one to drink, one to pour over the affected area.
No, you just slam them together very hard.
Ah, okay.
It's a bit like camels and a couple of bricks.
We're not talking about Camel, the player, poker player.
I don't know if he's had it done.
Okay.
No, he hasn't, because he's
Just
he's
had a baby,
father,
hasn't he?
So there you go. We know.
I don't mean him personally has had a baby, but there you go. Thank you, Dixon Bainbridge. I'm sure if I'd have been around, you'd been around a year ago or so, you'd have saved me £320, which I had to give to Mari Stopes.
No.
Yeah, I went private.
320 quid. What did you get for your private?
For me private. Very good, Tom. What a fine team we make.
That you
What did I
don't
give
get-
for my privates? Nothing. It was they didn't give me anything for my privates. A couple of test tubes.
Oh, okay.
An email from Reese here as well, Tom. When looking at your last hand of the sit and go, you said your ace 9 against the king, queen, jack 10, 20% chance of bigger ace. I can see that's about 5% per bigger card, but how do you go about working that out?
Yeah, it's just something I know, and that's not a very helpful thing to say, but roughly, when you've got an ace, then you should count the number of bigger aces out there, and then multiply it by the number of players out there, and that'll give you the percentage. So if you've got ace queen and there's 9 other players to act, then there's about a 9% chance someone's got ace king. So that's it. Number of bigger aces out there multiplied by the number of players. It only works for smallish percentages up to around about 20-25%. Hope that helps.
Oh, the bullets there for Prince Sheba, but not getting any azione. Rose has done well after that nasty beat with the ace king against the ace 8. Pulled right back.
We're getting quite near to the end of the show here, Barry. Do you think these boys are going to wrap up in the thoughtful way that the other players did on the previous multi-table?
I think so. Come on, boys, get busy. Let's finish this one now. I think out of the two, you got to fancy Rose's chances as well. Or King Queen.
Oh.
Oh, hello. I think. Oh dear. Oh,
Hello.
Up and down. Oh, it's there.
Oh, my
Roses
God.
pulls it out of the bag. Roses wins the first prize. Prince Sheba second. Well done to you. So, a frantic end to the show this evening. Well, nearly end of the show. We've got a couple of more emails. Should we try and get them in very quickly?
Have we got time?
Okay.
Okay.
Would like to say that this is from Mellow Cat. Hi guys, like to say I play 5 sit and go tournaments on the new 2000 chip TV tables. It's my first time playing on the site and I really enjoyed it. The slower structure allows me for more play and suits my Harrington-esque tight aggressive style. The Poker Night Live regulars who I play with seem to be a very pleasant bunch and provide an enjoyable challenge. I won 2 and came 5th in 3. Cheers guys. I think these tables provide some really entertaining viewing and an excellent opportunity for analysis as they fit perfectly in between cash games and the usual faster sit and goes. I think no matter what your style is, the extra play raises the skill element and reduces that of luck, our constant enemy, except for when we make a bad bet. Anyway, great show from Mellocat. I say that's an agreement, pretty much there. Some with the
Absolutely, yeah.
2000 chips.
Thanks for that, Mellow Cat. Didn't help me, but there you go.
Well, look, we've got a couple of emails. We can't get through it. We've only got a few more seconds to the end of the show. Tom, great to have you back, sir. Thank you very much for the last 4 hours.
It's been my pleasure, Barry the Bullets, even though you're not firing them, apparently. Don't look at me like that. I think I might have
Anyway,
committed a
look,
faux pas.
let's wrap it up. Thanks for joining us tonight on Poker Night Live. We'll be back very soon. Take care.